102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. President Donald Trump continues to face legal challenges over his executive orders on voting and immigration. Madeline Rivera has more.
A federal judge in D.C. has blocked a portion of President Trump's executive order to overhaul the way federal elections are run, targeting provisions requiring proof of citizenship before being allowed to register to vote. She argued under the Constitution, Congress and the states have the authority to regulate federal elections, not the president. Meantime, another judge in California blocked the Trump administration from stripping federal funds for sanctuary cities, saying the action would irreparably hurt these cities and counties. And finally, a Maryland judge ordered the government to bring back another man who was deported to El Salvador.
The man charged in the death of United Healthcare's CEO last year is due in federal court today in New York City. Tanya J. Powers with more.
Luigi Mangione is accused of shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a hotel in Midtown Manhattan in December. Earlier this month, a federal grand jury indicted him on 4 counts, including stalking, firearms offense, and murder through the use of a firearm, which makes Mangione eligible for the death penalty if convicted. Attorney General Pam Bondi has signaled her intention to pursue the death penalty in the case. Mangione's attorneys say Bondi's statement, which was given before their client was federally indicted, quote, prejudiced the grand jury process. Mangione has already pleaded not guilty to New York state charges, including first-degree murder in the furtherance of an act of terrorism. In New York City, Tanya J. Powers.
One day from the funeral of Pope Francis, and the Vatican is making final preparations.
The Vatican says 130 foreign delegations will attend the funeral mass on Saturday morning. 50 heads of state, including President Donald Trump, along with the First Lady. They're also preparing for at least 200,000 people to descend on St. Peter's Square and the surrounding area. Pope Francis's burial site has been prepared, a marble tomb marked only Franciscus. It's in the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. A slow procession will comprise the late pontiff's final journey. Jonathan Savage.
It's 59 degrees at 6:03, FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
A use of force incident is now underway. An investigation into that use of force incident is underway in Neosho.
Surveillance videos gone viral on Facebook showing multiple officers surrounding a teenage boy who was walking along a city road. Words are exchanged. One officer pushes the teen and another takes him down to the ground. Now, what happened before the incident to cause that is unknown at this time, but Neosho Police Chief Jason Baird says that the Highway Patrol has launched an unbiased review of the events, and he promises transparency and accountability. You can see the video in question inside this story at newstalkkzrg.com. I'm Ty Albright for News Talk KZRG.
President Trump is taking on elite woke universities.
If you want to understand what's going on in college campuses, you shouldn't be all that surprised, because this race essentialism, this DEI, this cultural Marxism has infected our universities. They view every room, every situation you divide by oppressor and oppressed, and it has real consequences. And I think we finally have an administration that's willing to stand up to it.
Missouri U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt says Ivy League universities have been far too entitled for far too long. It's 59 degrees, 6:04. If you see news, text us at 417-782-1310. It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
A stream advisory issued for Cow Creek near Pittsburgh and for Spring River to Empire Lake near Riverton. This is due to operational problems at the Pittsburgh wastewater treatment facility, which they say they are correcting. There could be potential elevated levels of E. coli bacteria in Cow Creek and Spring River in those areas, so it's best you stay away from those bodies of water.
A major music festival begins today. Monica DeLuca has the lineup.
Just over 60 artists are billed to perform across Stagecoach Music Festival's 3 stages.
I'm just a long-haired son of a sinner.
Jelly Roll, Zach Bryan, and Luke Combs are set to headline the Country Music Festival this year, which returns to the Empire Polo Club this weekend. Former Van Halen lead singer and frontman Sammy Hagar also holds a headlining position after the alternative rock band Goo Goo Dolls. It's not just country music. You'll also find artists like T-Pain, Lana Del Rey, Nelly, Diplo, and the Backstreet Boys. Monica DeLuca.
Now with sports, here's Lucas Davis on News Talk KZRG.
In MLB action, the Cardinals were off on Thursday and host a 3-game series with the Brewers with the opener set for tonight at 7:15. You can hear that game on our sister station AM 1230 The Talker. Kansas City hosted a twin bill with Colorado and came away with the sweep. The Royals won the opener 7-4. Salvador Perez had 2 hits, 2 RBI, and Kyle Isbell drove in 3 with a pair of hits. The Royals built a 5-0 lead on the way to a 6-2 win over the Rockies in Game 2 to finish off the Brooms. Perez went 3 for 4 with a double and a homer, 2 RBI, and a run scored. Michael Lorenzen earned the win after allowing 1 over 6 innings with 7 Ks. In NFL news, the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft took place on Thursday, with Miami quarterback Cam Ward going number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. The Kansas City Chiefs selected Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons with the 32nd pick. In prep baseball, Carl Junction earned a 4-1 win over Hillcrest. Neosho beat Republic 6-0, and Springfield Catholic beat Joplin 10-6. Lucas Davis, KZRG. Your news is a service of Galena Liberty Pawn. Sell your owner gold and silver direct to the refinery for top dollar. They also sell gold and silver bullion. Galena Liberty Pawn, 708 South Main, Galena, Kansas. I'm Lucas Davis.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
Next news at 6:30. Breaking news as it happens on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith.
Here is your KZRG forecast. A few showers, some thunder, mainly this morning. 74 today. Tomorrow, showers and storms in the afternoon. 68 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith in the KZRG Storm Center.
Weather's a service of Indigo Sky Casino. Fridays in April from 6 to 10 p.m., play for your chance to win up to $10,000 cash at the area's premier gaming destination. See IndigoSkyCasino.com for details and daily promotions.
KZRG Storm Tracker radar showing clear in the 4-state area. It's 59 degrees in Neosho, 59 degrees in Pittsburgh, 60 in Galena, and 59 in Joplin. 100 weather updates every 24 hours on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. KZRG News Time, 6:08.
Our farmers feed us all. For generations, they've done what's best for the land. So why is the litigation industry threatening Missouri farmers' go-to crop protection tool? Without glyphosate-based herbicides, crop yields will drop, costs will soar, and we'll all see even higher grocery bills. Farmers need to be supported, not controlled. To keep glyphosate available in our state, go to TakeControlMissouri.com. Paid for by Modern Ag Alliance in support of Missouri farmers.
This is a test. This station is conducting a weekly test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a weekly test of the emergency alert system. If this had been an actual emergency, the attention signal you just heard would have been followed by an official warning or alert information. This station serves the tri-state area. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system.
All of us need to be prepared to defend ourselves and our families, and we need to start with the less lethal option to avoid the legal complications.
Good morning, everybody.
Has their less lethal pistol launcher. It is equipped with tear gas.
I don't have the list up yet, so I apologize. Let me see who we got
any
here.
attacker for up to 40 minutes.
Who do we got here?
This
beautiful Friday morning.
10% off. Let me tell you this burner story. Bob was at home. An intruder physically forced his way inside.
George is here. Chris. Deck update. I'm a woman. Yes, Chris, I apologized profusely yesterday after you left. Jokes aside, I know Steve and I make a lot of gender jokes. Jokes aside, I actually did not mean to misgender you. I do actually sincerely apologize. So that was my bad. I will continue to make my apology after this next segment. But I do apologize, Chris. Also, good morning to you, Chris.
From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310 on your smart speaker on the KZRG app. It's Ted Bojorquez.
And Lucas Davis.
Steve Scott is out today. He cashed in our official KZRG company policy is every employee gets a BFT days. They get 3 BFT days, which stands for Break From Ted Days. And so every year, the rest of the employees at Zimmer Marketing cash in on their 3 days. I don't get them. Unfortunately, I can't take a break from myself. I've tried, but Steve is cashing in today on one of his BFT days. So he'll be back in the hot seat on Monday. Don't you worry about that. Well, you need to be aware of something this morning at 6:11 in the a.m., and that is we're giving away $100 today.
Cash money.
Money. 6:40 this morning. Lucas is going to be drawing a name from the Fez of Fortune.
Ooh, hope you're on my good side.
And then we're going to be announcing that winner. That is this week's final winner. However, we're going to continue this cash money trend next week. So, today we're giving away more code words. 705, 805, 1205, and 405. When you hear code words at those times, text them to 417-782-1310, and your name will be put into the Fez of Fortune, and on Monday, we'll be drawing our winner for today's code words.
Just springing into some cash.
Nice. Good pun on spring.
I had to make up for Steve being gone.
With the dad jokes that are bad?
Yep.
You're filling the role nicely so far, Lucas. Yes. Now, I will say, another thing you need to be aware of are scams. And yet here we are talking about ways that you can win money by texting us. We have a
not a scam, by the way.
Not a scam, but in line with that.
It may sound like one, not a scam. You just have to, have a code word, but it's not a scam. I promise.
Sounds like it.
You just have to give us all of your information, but it's not a scam.
Social Security included, of course.
And bank account routing number, all of the above.
Name of your firstborn child.
Yes.
No, we're just joking. But there is actually a real texting scam that you do need to be aware of that the Kansas Department of Transportation is warning you about. Now, this scam involves fraudulent text messages, which apparently is known as smishing. Have you heard this phrase before?
Never heard that before, ever.
Yeah, KDOT, they made this big, Kansas Department of Transportation had this big press release. They had a big meeting about it. Hey, there's this scam. And they said that it's known as smishing, S-M-I-S-H-I-N-G.
So it's like SMS phishing? Is that what the whole...
Yeah, but there's an I in between the spelling.
Maybe they just added it so it sounded better.
So it sounds more like phishing? Maybe. As a Zoomer, and as someone that's chronically on the internet, I feel like I'm pretty up to date with slang and new language. This one has got me beat.
This is when boomers try to do slang and new language. That's what that is.
When boomers try to do slang, they come up with terminology like smishing.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds like you're fishing via smushing. Like
no one calls it SMSing anymore. Like, that's a boomer term.
Yeah, that is a boomer. Now it's DMs. But by the way, that's a millennial term. DMs for direct message, and that's becoming a quote-unquote boomer term.
They're getting rid of DMs on X.
Yeah.
It's so sad. I have a group chat that's been on there for a while. And
better save the archives.
We all said, well, it's been real, fellas, because we're not downloading a separate app just to talk to each other. That's how guys are. Exactly right there.
Now, these scams that KDOT is warning you about falsely claim to be from KDOT and demand payments for unpaid tolls. That's sort of the shtick with this schmishing, as KDOT calls it. Now, this is really important to hear. and that is KDOT does not request or collect any form of payment via text message. That is not their MO. That's not how they roll. As a matter of fact, KDOT has come out and said publicly and on record that KDOT does not collect tolls for any roadways. So not only do they not collect tolls via text, they don't collect tolls at all. So even if you live in Missouri or Arkansas or Oklahoma, text messages, they don't respect state boundary lines. So scammers, they might go, hey, you know what? You live in Missouri, but it's close enough to Kansas. I might try you out. And then you might think to yourself, oh, you know what? I did go to Kansas a couple of weeks ago. I stopped in Galena for something or whatever. It's very likely that you might be a target for something like this. So just keep that in mind. If you get a text like that, ignore it. Don't click any of those links. And as a matter of fact, it's actually recommended that if you get a scam text like that, you report it to your local PD. Now, the local PD, they might not be able to do anything about these scams directly. In fact, they most likely won't be able to. But what they can do is warn others about it. It's sort of a help thy neighbor sort of thing.
As I approach 40 years old, I often wonder what is the scam going to be that I fall for, that I officially realize that I am of the older generation. Because there's going to come a point in time where something's going to get me, and I know it, and it's going to royally upset me. Because I know at that point in time, I'm old.
Yeah.
That's how I know.
Yep. The brave new world out there. I think it's going to be AI for sure.
For sure.
It's going to be
It'll
deep
definitely
fakes.
be AI. Yep.
Yeah, deep fakes are going to get me.
They are coming at every angle with scams too. It's insane. You get them in email, text, phone calls. It is just relentless.
Dude, the ones that always get me, as a matter of fact, I actually almost got a couple of years ago, and that is those texts from pollsters.
Yeah.
I actually like answering polls. I think it's important. I like having my opinion heard.
That does not surprise me one bit about you.
What?
I'm just saying. Just you in general, that is the least surprising I've ever been about a fact of Ted.
Do I give off answers, polls to their completion vibes?
Most people try to get off the poll phones quickly as possible. Ted gets on the poll phones to have a conversation for as long as possible.
100%.
That's
I ask, do you have a secondary poll that I could take?
If we're in the middle of a board game and you did that, I would grab your phone and throw it.
But anyway, I used to get all of these these text SMS blasts for polls, and they would send links, and I would click on them every time and fill out the poll. And then I realized at one point I was like, oh, wait a second.
And now they have all my information.
Yeah, exactly. So just keep that in mind. Again, back to the primary aspect here, and that is KDOT. There's a scam going around, people texting you saying that they're KDOT and that you need to click this link to pay an unpaid toll road fee. Don't click that link. KDOT does not collect money via text and does not even have paid toll roads, according to KDOT. So just a scam all the way around. Just keep that in mind.
Do you think that they'll use AI as a way to combat all these scams as well, too? Like, who do you think will win, the AI scammers or the AI anti-scammers? Generally, scammers are always ahead of the anti-scammers.
Generally, well, yeah, because it's action-reaction. Yeah. The scammers come up with a way of scamming you, and then reaction, anti-scammers have to figure out.
But when you bring AI into it, they're predictive as well. So,
well, you know what's crazy about the AI thing with scams, and this is actually really wild, is basically they use AI and they say create 5,000 different scripts for scams, and then they send them all out. And then some people click them, some people don't. Then they get the data back, and then they have AI analyze
of the ones
which of the 5,000 I sent, which one had the most clicks. Then they take that one specifically, and they say, refine this. Make it sound even more real. Make it sound even more convincing. How can I use this exact system on Facebook versus on texting versus on Twitter? And then they use AI to make it even better. So, I mean, it really is a thieves' playground right now.
It's all well and good until AI turns on us.
Oh, and that's going to happen pretty soon here. Hey, speaking of Kansas news, and we're going to get into the details a little bit more on this, but generally speaking, if you are cruising around Kansas this morning and you see flags at half-staff, the Kansas Governor Laura Kelly directed they all be that way on state buildings and grounds and facilities in honor of Pope Francis. In fact, President Donald Trump issued a similar order nationally, and which affects all the states anyway. but I guess Kansas doubled down on it. So you should be seeing flags half-staff up until April 26th, which is tomorrow at sundown, in most buildings across the U.S. in honor of Pope Francis.
Are you aware of how they elect a new pope?
Yeah, it's a vote. The
like an inside vote, yeah.
Yeah, they have a I forget exactly what it's called, but they have like an order of these cardinals and stuff, and they have to work their way up and fight to get into that order. Fight might be a bit strong language, but earn their way into that order, and then they host basically a vote. And right now there's a short list of, I believe, like 8 or 9 for the Pope.
Did you see the liberal conspiracy theory going around?
Oh, God. Let's hear it. Wait.
This was the last
Do I need
pope,
a tinfoil hat?
And this was the last pope, and now it's the age of the apocalypse because it coincides
They say that about every pope
that passes away, I know.
Every pope that comes in, they say, this is the one. But
this one coincides with Trump being in office, so that's why the liberals are running with it now.
Yeah, all right. Maybe. I'm going to put a fat maybe on that. KZRG News Time, 621.
KZRG's Big 3 on News Talk, KZRG.
This is the most accurate Big 3 because I have not seen this paper until just now.
Usually I'm nice to Lucas, and I give it to Lucas ahead of time. Today I forgot. I went autopilot. So, hey, here we go, Lucas.
Number 3.
President Trump signed an executive order on election integrity. The order would have required the Election Assistance Commission to amend national voter registration forms to require documentary proof of citizenship. A U.S. district judge blocked the order. Shocking.
Number 2.
According to the U.S. Treasury Secretary, South Korea is close to making a trade deal in the U.S. The secretary said the meetings in South Korea are moving faster than the U.S. had expected.
Number 1.
There's scams aplenty out there. The Kansas Department of Transportation is warning you of a texting scam known as smishing, where the scammer pretends to be KDOT and demands payment for unpaid tolls. If you get a text like this, just remember, KDOT does not collect any form of payment via text.
Now, the KZRG question of the day on News Talk, KZRG.
What are you most thankful for? We want to know. Go to the KZRG Facebook page, News Talk KZRG on Facebook. What are you most thankful for? Coming up, we're going to take a listen to what's going on with your money on News Talk KZRG.
Here is your KZRG forecast. We are in and out of the rain this weekend, though it's not a complete washout. A few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder today, mainly in the morning. Will turn out sunny later on this afternoon.
Good morning, everyone. Lucas was telling us what he's most thankful for. Lucas?
After seeing what's going on in Britain and the rest of Europe, I am never been more thankful for the Constitution, because when they take guns away from you, dude, they do whatever they want. It is hilarious, though, to me that the UK has been taken. They are just the biggest warmongering country ever. And they're now being taken over by immigrants that they warmongered throughout all the time. It's hilarious.
It's poetic, honestly.
Yep, it really is. It's hilarious.
You know, it's funny with this whole, I'm not necessarily someone that's, anti-globalization. I think I like the idea of having more markets to sell American goods to. If it's fair trade, I think Trump's working on the fair trade thing. Good for him. That being said, I actually do think that some of the negatives of globalization is, this whole social order thing. Specifically in the sense of, America really is the last bastion of freedom.
Yep.
Because if until America gets on board, this whole EU and NATO and
one world government
thing won't stick. Because, and what I mean by the social order isn't sexuality or race or gender or anything. Specifically, the Bill of Rights, the ability to criticize your government. That's a social rule, a social norm that we construct to. The freedom to own firearms. That's a social rule, a social order that we adhere to. These other countries, we're literally the only one that does it. And until the U.S. gets on board, it's not pushing through to one world order.
That's why our standing in the world is so important, because when you have somebody like President Biden who's in office and the world just walks all over you, every other country feeds off of that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
When you have somebody like Trump who actually stands firm on situations and issues and says, no, we're not going to go this way, we're going to go the opposite way of everyone else, that's when you have other countries start to trickle and they, you know what, yeah, you're right, we shouldn't be doing this is nonsense, we're going to go stick with the logical U.S. approach.
You know what a great analogy for that is Twitter.
was all the social media companies were all lockstep, and then Elon bought Twitter, and suddenly that was the only one that said, I'm going to go in a different way, and then everyone else followed suit and went, hey, wait a second, yeah, this is complete ridiculousness. Great show, by the way, Ridiculousness.
So good. Robin Big was better, though.
Who?
Robin Big. You never watched that?
No.
There would be no Ridiculousness without Robin Big.
Dude, I was a Rob Dyrdek fan from like day one.
Then you would know what Robin Big was. Robin Big was Dyrdek and Big Black, and like they just palled around for a reality show. It was awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
It was a security guard, basically. He had a security guard. Dude, he was like, you know, Dyrdek is small, like skateboarder. This dude is probably 6'8", 350, like just a monster of a man.
Oh, that's baller.
Like Big Black was not an ironic nickname.
Hey, we got Chris Squared. Avery's here.
They had one where they had
Suzanne.
Big Black drop down, skateboarding drop down in on a ramp, and the board just went right out from under him. And he just fell right on his backside. He goes, "Up, there it is. You got what you wanted."
Dude, I miss like early 2000s MTV.
Yeah. That was the last decent era of MTV. It was just trash after that.
I don't even know. What do they even have?
They show reruns now.
That's it?
It's all like reruns of like...
well, I mean, MTV is pretty eclectic anyway. I mean, it's basically like Tower Records at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not the way that...
A collection of garbage that nobody really wants, but it keeps them on air.
Yeah. It's like a legacy format now, MTV.
It's like walking through that...
has reported revenue of just over $90.2 billion and earnings...
81. The company's shares rose as much as 4% on stronger than expected revenue growth. Alphabet's search and advertising units are still showing strong growth despite AI competition heating up. CNBC reports Meta has laid off employees in its Reality Labs division that is tasked with developing virtual reality, augmented reality, and related wearable devices. The cuts affected an unspecified number of employees working in the division's Oculus Studios unit and the Supernatural VR workout app. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has recalled nearly 180,000 safety-first Grow and Grow Sprint Child car seats, citing safety concerns that could potentially cause injuries. The seats have a foam pad that can present a choking hazard to a child. Futures are mixed. Wednesday, the Dow Industrials gained 486, the Nasdaq up 457, the S&P 500 up 108. That's your money now.
Listen up, Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. So let's do it again and get vaccinated. We're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults under 50. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com to schedule. Sponsored by Pfizer.
What does the future of mobility in Michigan sound like? That's the sound of new EV charging stations at our state parks. That's the sound of over $20 billion in new investments to produce EVs and batteries in Michigan. And that's the silence of Michigan's new En-Road wireless charging system. Discover all the ways MEDC is driving next-gen mobility in Michigan at michiganbusiness.org.
It's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
Ted Bohorquez.
Lucas Davis.
News Talk KZRG. Coming up this morning after the news in about 10 minutes, we're going to be drawing a name from...
The Fez of Fortune!
That's right. We're giving away $100 just after the news in about 10 minutes here. Just a little heads up, light rain expected in the 4 states within the next hour. Nothing too crazy, just a nice little pittering of it. A little foggy out on the roadways this morning as well. So please keep that in mind as you cruise around. Look out for other vehicles and look out for people walking on the street. Sometimes in zombie weather, it could be a little bit difficult to see those pedestrians. KZRG News Time, 6:30. Good morning.
At 6:30, I'm Lucas Davis.
And I'm Ted Bohorquez.
Here's what's trending on News Talk KZRG. Trump lawsuit's latest.
Mangione court date.
Pope's funeral approaching. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. We're heading for a high of 80. Your complete forecast with KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith following KZRG Sports at 6:38. It's a little foggy out. It's 61 in Neosho, 61 in Pittsburgh, 59 in Galena, and 59 in Joplin on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker News Talk KZRG. President Donald Trump continues to face legal challenges over his executive orders on voting and immigration. Madeline Rivera has more.
A federal judge in D.C. has blocked a portion of President Trump's executive order to overhaul the way federal elections are run, targeting provisions requiring proof of citizenship before being allowed to register to vote. She argued under the Constitution, Congress and the states have the authority to regulate federal elections, not the president. Meantime, another judge in California blocked the Trump administration from stripping federal funds for sanctuary cities, saying the action would irreparably hurt these cities and counties. And finally, a Maryland judge ordered the government to bring back another man who was deported to El Salvador.
The man charged in the death of United Healthcare's CEO last year is due in federal court today in New York City.
Luigi Mangione is accused of shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a hotel in Midtown Manhattan in December. Earlier this month, a federal grand jury indicted him on 4 counts, including stalking, firearms offense, and murder through the use of a firearm, which makes Mangione eligible for the death penalty if convicted. Attorney General Pam Bondi has signaled her intention to pursue the death penalty in the case. Mangione's attorneys say Bondi's statement, which was given before their client was federally indicted, quote, prejudiced the grand jury process. Mangione has already pleaded not guilty to New York state charges, including first-degree murder in the furtherance of an act of terrorism. In New York City, Tanya J. Powers.
One day from the funeral of Pope Francis, and the Vatican is making final preparations.
The Vatican says 130 foreign delegations will attend the funeral mass on Saturday morning. 50 heads of state, including President Donald Trump, along with the First Lady. They're also preparing for at least 200,000 people to descend on St. Peter's Square and the surrounding area. Pope Francis's burial site has been prepared, a marble tomb marked only Franciscus. It's in the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. A slow procession will comprise the late pontiff's final journey. Jonathan Savage.
It's 59 at 6:32, FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker News Talk KZRG.
A break in his Southwest Missouri cold case. News Talk KZRG's Steve Smith with the details.
In Springfield, 36-year-old Paul Bowles has been indicted for second-degree murder, rape, and sodomy in the death of 18-year-old Jennifer Williams. Williams went missing while walking home in Springfield on September 8th back in 1989. Her body was discovered about 2 weeks later. The indictment comes after new advances in DNA led to the testing of Williams' sexual assault kit that identified Bowles as a suspect. He's in custody in Greene County. Steve Smith, News Talk KZRG.
State lawmakers across the U.S. have introduced at least 240 anti-China proposals this year. A new Kansas law covers artificial intelligence and medical equipment, and another greatly limits property ownership within 100 miles of a military installation by firms and people tied to foreign adversaries. While in Arkansas, the targets include sister city ties and state and local contracts for promotional items. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders says either the U.S. or China will lead the world over the next few decades, and she wants to make sure it's us. It's 59 degrees. It's 6:34. If you see news, text us at 417-782-1310, FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
President Trump is taking on elite woke universities. Missouri U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt says it's about time someone stood up to them.
Well, they had a lot of friends in high places, and President Trump's turning the tables on them now. For a long time, they've employed discriminatory practices based on race. For Asian students, white students, the Supreme Court ruled that way just a year ago, and now those practices are going a little bit underground, and I think we're going to learn a lot more about that. They've had segregated graduation ceremonies for every group except for white students and Jewish students.
Schmidt says these Ivy League schools are especially bad when it comes to censoring free speech and fostering hate.
American workers are preparing themselves to accept jobs for less money over anxiety of a possible recession. Caroline Elliott has the story.
The New York Fed asked Americans what is the lowest salary they would take for a job. The answer, a little over $74,000 a year. And that's down from just 6 months ago when the answer was over $82,000 a year. According to the New York Fed, right now, a lot of people are worried about a possible recession. And an analyst with Bankrate says for many, a lower paycheck is still better than no paycheck at all. Now, Bankrate tells us historically expectations for paychecks do go up and down, but even the New York Fed described this as a significant decline. Caroline Elliott.
Now with sports, here's Lucas Davis on News Talk KZRG.
In MLB action, the Cardinals were off on Thursday and host a 3-game series with the Brewers with the opener set for tonight at 7:15. You can hear that game on our sister station AM 1230 The Talker. Kansas City hosted a twin bill with Colorado and came away with the sweep. The Royals won the opener 7-4. Salvador Perez had 2 hits, 2 RBI, and Kyle Isbell drove in 3 with a pair of hits. The Royals built a 5-0 lead on the way to a 6-2 win over the Rockies in Game 2 to finish off the Brooms. Perez went 3 for 4 with a double and a homer, 2 RBI, and a run scored. Michael Lorenzen earned the win after allowing 1 over 6 innings with 7 Ks. In NFL news, the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft took place on Thursday, with Miami quarterback Cam Ward going number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. The Kansas City Chiefs selected Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons with the 32nd pick. In prep baseball, Carl Junction earned a 4-1 win over Hillcrest. Neosho beat Republic 6-0, and Springfield Catholic beat Joplin 10-6. Lucas Davis, KZRG. Your news is a service of Galena Liberty Pawn. Sell your unwanted gold and silver direct to the refinery for top dollar. They also sell gold and silver bullion. Galena Liberty Pawn, 708 South Main, Galena, Kansas. I'm Lucas Davis.
And I'm Ted Bohorquez.
Next news at 7 o'clock. Breaking news as it happens. FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith.
Here is your KZRG forecast. We are in and out of the rain this weekend, though it's not a complete washout. A few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder today, mainly in the morning. Will turn out sunny later on this afternoon, 74 the high. Tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, 68. And scattered thunder showers Sunday, 76 the high Sunday. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith in the KZRG Storm Center.
KZRG Storm Tracker radar showing a little bit of fog in the area. It's 61 in Neosho, 61 in Pittsburgh, 59 in Galena, and 59 in Joplin. 100 weather updates every 24 hours on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. KZRG News Time, 6:38.
In just 6 months, you could become a professional manicurist. Hi, I'm Paige Merriman, the admissions coordinator at City Point Beauty Academy. Our nail technology program is structured to teach you the art of being a professional nail technician and provide you with business education to help boost your career. I personally invite you to give us a call or visit our website at citypointbeauty.com to schedule a tour of our state-of-the-art school. Financial aid is available for those who qualify. Don't wait. Start your new career today with City Point Beauty Academy.
When considering a home remodel, it's important to be confident in the team that you hire. They need to be solid. That's why at Solid Remodel and Restorations, they believe in solid. That means solid work, solid people, and solid results.
Good morning, everybody. We got the Fizz! Fizz. Don't pick a name yet.
Blank anyway. What are the chances? How many blanks are in here?
There's like 4 or 5.
And I got one of them?
Yeah.
This is why crazy. I am Eeyore. Now you know, because this is my luck.
Hi, I'm Jasper County Sheriff Randy Kaiser, and there's quite a few phone fraud scams currently in the 4 states. For example, individuals calling and claiming to be a Jasper County deputy, telling the caller that they missed court or they have a warrant. Another current phone scam involves claiming you've won a lottery prize and you need to pay the fees. IRS impersonation scams are also on the rise, with the caller claiming to be with the IRS and demanding personal information. We've received reports of phishing scams, one-call scams, charity scams, and even grandparent scams where a caller pretends to be a grandchild in an emergency needing money. Protect yourself and your loved ones from scam callers. Never give out personal information, including
Social Security numbers.
All right, who do we have? Cerisa said, if only Luigi would have listened to Mario, this would have never happened. All right, Cerisa's doing her part to fill in for Steve Scott's dad jokes.
What's the funny joke? Because I'm all off on.
Avery said, speaking of Mangione, it's disturbing to me how many people on Tumblr are openly supportive of him. Wow, Avery. I did not know Tumblr was still a thing. That's awesome. That was honestly my takeaway from that, is that Tumblr's alive and well.
I thought we were talking about the drink cups.
Oh, Tumblrs? Was Tumblr before or after your time?
What is Tumblr?
It's a social media site.
Yeah, but what is it? Because it sounds familiar.
It's like its target audience is like middle school girls.
It's like TMB LR or something like that.
Yeah, TMB LUR. No, TUMB LR. Something like that.
I'm familiar with it. I never have any.
Yeah, it was people would like post like their dream boards and like
Definitely.
stuff
So it's
like that.
Pinterest?
Yeah, it was sort of like more social media form of Pinterest.
Yeah, I never had it. So it was like the Vine back in the day. Is that how old it is?
No, it's not. It's more like Instagram. It was more image based than video. It was like a mix of Instagram and Twitter. It really was a perfect combo of like an image and then a lot of just like tweet style posts. Conclave there.
I'm just a long
Girl Chris says, until we fix the judicial system, get rid of the tirade taxes. There's only an illusion of freedom.
Whatever happened to getting rid of the income tax? Were we just
it was temporary.
Did that disappear with the Epstein files?
We're still in World War II. Yeah, that is a good point. Trump did promise that, huh?
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot about that. See,
that was what we were going to use to counter the tariffs. We're getting rid of the income tax.
Interesting. Might have to bring that up on air.
And more. From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KCRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KCRG.
6:42 in the AM, 59 in Joplin, 61 in Pittsburgh, 61 in the Neosho area, 59 in the Miami area. It's Ted Bojorquez.
Lucas Davis.
Steve Scott is out today. He's going to be back in the hot seat on Monday. He cashed in on one of his TAT days. TAT. Time away from Ted. TAFT. It's Taft, actually, as in William Howard Taft. Zimmer marketing employees, everyone gets 4 time away from Ted days off a year. Steve cashed in on one of his today. So he'll be back on Monday. But despite that, it is now time to draw a name from
The Fans of Fortune.
And because Steve is out today, Lucas has the unique honor of drawing a name from the fortunate Fez. Lucas, give that a nice little shake up by the mic there.
Call me Steve and I almost just dropped all these.
Hey, you were doing a pretty good job picking up on Steve's bad dad jokes earlier, so.
Here we go.
All right, Lucas is now drawing a name. He has handed me the name, and we have our winner in my hand. Without further ado, today's $100 winner is Lawrence Shepard.
Lawrence.
Woohoo! All right. Let's go, Lawrence Shepard.
That $100, that'll get you like 2 trips to fast food.
That'll get you like maybe 2 dozen eggs.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Good thing Easter's already passed. We don't have to worry about that.
That is true. But unfortunately, see, like Halloween, once Halloween passes, all the decorations go on sale. Easter, there's no post-Easter egg sales. Those prices just stay right where they were.
It honestly doesn't matter how much eggs cost. I'm buying them. They're delicious.
Lucas is going to power through. Just take it on the chin. His wife comes in. Honey, what's this $600 bill?
I'll make cuts elsewhere.
Like to feeding my children.
I'll take my kids, just skip about with the breakfast for them. We don't need breakfast today.
Skip every
I'll
other
have
meal.
breakfast. You don't need it, guys.
Lawrence Shepard, congratulations, my good friend. We'll give you a ring later on this afternoon. Hey, if you are not Lawrence Shepard, don't worry. We're still giving away $100 a day for the foreseeable future, pretty much till we get bored. So,
or broke, one of the two.
Yeah, we'll see which one happens first. At 7:05, 8:05, 12:05, and 4:05, even more code words going out today. Tune in right here to FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310. For those code words, when you hear them, text them to 417-782-1310 for your daily shot at $100 cash. Go to newstalkkzrg.com, click on the Quick Cash banner, get all the details. We're sitting at a KZRG news time of 6:45 in the morning. Well, off air, Lucas and I, we were talking about this concept of things that seem to have been forgotten. With all the whirlwind of news and media and initiatives that the Trump administration has, a few things may have fallen by the wayside. Most notably, the Epstein files.
Yeah, what happened to that? They have the most inordinate amount of dust collected on them from how long they've been on Pam Bondi's desk.
Yeah, they made that, Pam Bondi, Attorney General, made that really big announcement, really exciting announcement that she was going to release them in full, and then, poof, it didn't happen and everyone kind of forgot.
Well, some forgot. The one that's, in control of the message, but those of us still are waiting on it.
Mm-hmm. The other big one is the income tax.
Yeah, I believe we were told the tariffs, the way to counteract that was to be getting rid of the income tax, and that talk has kind of died down significantly, almost to none.
Yeah, and Trump, as a matter of fact, on the campaign trail for his recent election, had talked about getting rid of the income tax. Now, here's a question for you, Lucas. The tariff thing, it's still very much so fresh ground here. We're still trying to figure it out. It hasn't happened. In fact, the tariffs that Trump put on aren't even on yet because he announced a 90-day pause a few days after he announced the reciprocal tariffs. So technically, we haven't done anything with tariffs yet. Do you think this income tax thing, getting rid of it specifically, in replacement of higher tariffs or more equitable tariffs, is that in the future once we get this whole tariff thing sorted out? Or do you think that they're just not even going to try anymore to get rid of the income tax?
What I believe or what I hope is that they will revisit it regardless of what this tariff situation is, because it was supposed to be a wartime measure anyway.
World War II, right?
Yeah, back when it was instituted. And, I mean, there are other ways that you can get that money back in other forms of taxes, as anti-tax as I am. But the income tax, I mean, for lack of a better term, is theft. But the tariffs to me are just a negotiating tool. Like, I don't think we may never even see a big impact from the tariffs if he gets these deals that he wants. Like, because there's it's reported there's a dozen or so countries that have proposals coming in or getting ready to.
Yeah, that number's soft because originally the Trump administration reported 47 countries came to the negotiating table, and then when people asked which countries, they literally announced we are not going to release them. So I don't actually think there was 47. That was probably a negotiating tactic tool, and then they came out and said, well, now we have 12
I think
proposals.
He just recently said China actually is one. He did name China as saying that China was coming to the table to talk.
I mean, sure. But then now they're saying, there's like 12 countries that are in deep, deep talks. So far, we know for sure South Korea is one of them.
And
but
again,
other than that,
this
they haven't
is all
released.
just negotiation tools anyway.
That's what I mean.
I don't think they're all going to
all
actually go into effect. Like maybe against China, but I don't think against these other countries. I think he's just doing it to get the deal, whatever deal he wants, or at least a better deal than we had.
So, but you think even if the tariffs go out perfectly well, exactly the way the Trump team wants them to go, you don't think that that is a reasonable way to replace the income from the income tax?
I believe they should get rid of the income tax. I don't think they're going to.
Right.
I think I don't live in the world of sunshines and rainbows, so I live in the world of logical outcomes, and logical outcomes to me says if you get rid of the income tax, they're going to have to overhaul everything.
Right.
Because that's a significant amount of money. Yeah, that's a significant, exactly. They have become dependent on our tax money, on our income tax money.
Which, by the way, is completely crazy anyway. To me, getting rid of the income tax should be a democratic measure, like from the left. And the reason why is because the left is all big on these rich CEOs need to pay their fair share, these rich companies. Well, guess what? These CEOs and companies, they don't have any income. It's all write-offs.
And these CEOs and companies are liberals too, by the way, now. Like, it's no longer, like, a lot of these CEOs are now liberal donating.
Oh, what do you mean?
Not, back in the day, like in the 90s and so, it used to be like the CEOs were right-handed.
Donates or conservative causes, but yeah, like Jeff Bezos and stuff, like his net worth was really high, but it was just the company that was paying for his housing, his food, his jet skis, his boats. He was writing it off all through the company. So he himself didn't even have any income. In fact, Amazon, I believe it was either last year or the year before, paid literally $0 in taxes.
It's insane.
Because of the way the tax code is written with the difference between income tax versus capital gains versus all this. And so these giant corporations are literally not actually paying into it. And whatever, I don't want to be like, oh, but we need to tax them more. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying taxing more is just going to tax hardworking Americans and consumers because these CEOs don't even have income and don't even have a way of they have a way of skirting around it anyway. So anytime they do a tax hike to try and get these big CEOs, it doesn't affect them, but it does affect you in areas like the 4 states, which is completely backwards. So, I mean, none of it makes sense, really.
No, it's why they should just, like I said, just rip it out. Just get rid of the income tax.
Done deal.
And even if you have a usage tax, that's fine because you get to decide then what you're getting taxed on. You have no choice when it comes to the income tax. They're taking that money before you ever
Your choice is to have no income.
Yeah, exactly.
KZRG News Time, 6:51.
KZRG's Big 3 on News Talk, KZRG.
Number 3.
President Trump signed an executive order on election integrity. The order would have required the Election Assistance Commission to amend national voter registration forms to require documentary proof of citizenship. A U.S. district judge blocked the order. What a shock.
Number 2.
According to the U.S. Treasury Secretary, South Korea is close to making a trade deal in the U.S. The Secretary said the meetings with South Korea are moving faster than the U.S. had expected.
Number 1.
There's scams aplenty out there. The Kansas Department of Transportation is warning you of a texting scam known as smishing, where the scammer pretends to be KDOT and demands payment for unpaid tolls. If you get a text like this, just remember, KDOT does not collect any form of pay via text, and the roads in Kansas surely don't have tolls.
Now, the KZRG question of the day on News Talk, KZRG.
What are you most thankful for? We want to know. Go to the KZRG Facebook page. News Talk KZRG on Facebook. Rose on Facebook said, my family. Scott said, I'm thankful that God has given me one more sunrise to enjoy. And Adam said he's thankful to just be part of it all. I think Russell's more my speed. Russell said he's most thankful for chili dogs. Yeah, I'm going to have to back you on that one, Russell. What are you most thankful for? Coming up, we're going to take a little listen to Hannity's Morning Minute on News Talk KZRG.
Here is your KZRG forecast. We are in and out of the rain this weekend, though it's not a complete washout. A few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder today, mainly in the morning. Will turn out sunny later on this afternoon, 74 the high. Tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, 68. And scattered thunderstorms Sunday, 76 the high Sunday. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith in the KZRG Storm Center.
Good morning, everyone. Hey, Rose. Good morning. Jody's here. We got the Queen's Wave for Jody. Thunderstorms. Looking for thunderstorms, Teresa? Jerry. Good morning, Jerry. Avery said, I see we're in Silent Hill this morning. Silent Joplin. Joplin Hill. I like Joplin Hill. Avery said, oh, and Lucas, Tumblr is like if you took Facebook, removed the algorithm, and replaced it with the most bare-bones, hardly working algorithm in existence. and made it even more of a mixed bag of, here are my cats, here's a painting I did, the people I don't agree with deserve to die, pretty sunset this evening, than it already is. And most people write only a few sentences for an entire thesis, or an entire thesis. There's no in between, LOL.
Alright, well, glad I don't have it.
Chris never heard of Tumblr. Yeah, Chris, again, it's sort of, oh, hey, John, what's going on? Yeah, Chris, it really is sort of like a, and I might be wrong here, but when I was in high school, my friends had it, and I was like, this is literally targeted towards, like, middle school girls. It's people post their dream board and what outfit, like, their dream outfit and stuff like that. That was my experience with it, anyway.
I guess I'll just get my mom flowers again. I'm making your favorite meal. A thick T-bone with boiled potatoes, asparagus, and grilled pineapple for dessert. What do you mean you're making? Since when did you start cooking? Since my wife got me my big green egg from Flames. I love cooking outside, especially when it's so easy and everything tastes so good. My big green egg heats up in a few minutes and keeps the food so
Yeah, dude, Trump better get rid of the income tax. I'm gonna be super upset if he doesn't.
I'm already annoyed that they quit talking about it.
That's such a good point. I didn't even think of that. It's like, yeah, that's how out of the... It's already out of the Overton window. Nobody, like... Sometimes I feel like, I don't want to say immigration is a social issue, because it really isn't. It's crime, it's economics, it's a lot, but... And I'm glad they're focused on it, but I think that maybe we could chew gum and walk at the same time.
But the thing is immigration's not an issue anymore. Like, the border's closed. Like,
I mean, yeah, but now you gotta clean up the mess, though.
Sure, but you know that it's going to be judge this, judge that. So how about we start focusing on stuff that he can actually get done? Getting rid of the income tax is one of those things.
That's what I mean. Is like we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can do the immigration thing, and can't we do something else too?
Right, because the border's closed, so we don't have to worry about the border anymore. Holman did his job. The border is shut down. We just got to get him out now.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We have to do that. We stopped the bleeding, but now we have to repair the...
And that's not on Homan, though. Like, Homan did his job, is what I'm saying. He shut that border down instantly. Which makes you know that they were doing that intentionally, letting people in.
Biden shut it down before he left office. It wasn't even Homan. Biden had signed that thing saying, yeah, we're just going to shut it down.
After 4 years of letting millions of people in the
I'm not giving Biden credit. I'm saying he did that during the campaign as like a last-ditch effort to be like, hey, vote for me, guys. I mean, they could have done it the entire time. There's no reason not to.
But now we got to spend 80 years getting them out. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's been a full-on war that then became a
I didn't know we were on.
USA
versus Russia. You cussing?
We were funding the war, hundreds of billions of your dollars, and it could have been stopped had we had a president with a backbone and a spine that would have gotten involved and tried to put an end to this before it even began. Anyway, so we know that the latest pitch would be formal U.S. recognition of Ukraine's Crimea Peninsula as Russian territory, which has been a departure. Now, do I like it? No. Does it reward bad behavior? In a way, it does. But the behavior happened a decade ago. And if you think it's going to go backwards, you're dreaming. It's just not going to change. Sometimes you just have to face reality.
The Sean Hannity Show from coast to coast later today.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, crime is at an all-time high, and you might already own a firearm, but you need to start with the less lethal option to avoid the financial and mental repercussions of pulling the trigger. Well, enter Byrna, BYRNA.com. Check out their videos. Now, Byrna's less lethal launchers are equipped with tear gas and kinetic ammunition. It's designed to incapacitate any attacker for up to 30 to 40 minutes. And Byrna is so excited to introduce their all-new compact launcher. It's sleek, it's slim, and it hits like a sledgehammer. It fires at 400 feet per second with 41 joules of force per square inch. Byrna, it's legal in all 50 states. You don't need a background check. They can ship it directly to your door, and Byrna is trusted by hundreds and hundreds of police departments and government agencies worldwide. Try it before you buy it. Go to Byrna, BYRNA.com, and find the Byrna dealer partner near you. That's Byrna, BYRNA.com.
It's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
Coming up in about 5 minutes here, right smack dab in the middle of the news, we're going to be giving away a code word for your daily shot at $100 cold hard cash with KZRG's Quick Cash. That first code word of this Friday is coming up in 5 minutes. And coming up in 10 minutes, just after the news, we're going to be speaking with Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson, notably about Schreiber Foods no longer expanding in Carthage. Good morning.
Four States News, Talk, and Severe Weather Station. KZRG, KIXQ HD2, Joplin. A free service of Zimmer Marketing.
At 7 o'clock, I'm Lucas Davis.
And I'm Ted Bohorquez.
Here's what's trending on News Talk KZRG. Trump lawsuits latest.
Mangione court date.
Pope's funeral approaching. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Heading for a high of 80. Your complete forecast with KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith following KZRG Sports at 7:08. It's a little bit foggy in the area. Some patchy rain. 61 in Neosho, 61 in Pittsburgh. 59 in Joplin, 61 in Galena on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk, KZRG. President Donald Trump continues to face legal challenges over his executive orders on voting and immigration. Madeline Rivera has more.
A federal judge in D.C. has blocked a portion of President Trump's executive order to overhaul the way federal elections are run, targeting provisions requiring proof of citizenship before being allowed to register to vote. She argued under the Constitution, Congress and the states have the authority to regulate federal elections, not the president. Meantime, another judge in California blocked the Trump administration from stripping federal funds for sanctuary cities, saying the action would irreparably hurt these cities and counties. And finally, a Maryland judge ordered the government to bring back another man who was deported to El Salvador.
The man charged in the death of United Healthcare CEO last year is due in federal court today in New York City.
Luigi Mangione is accused of shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a hotel in Midtown Manhattan in December. Earlier this month, a federal grand jury indicted him on 4 counts, including stalking, firearms offense, and murder through the use of a firearm, which makes Mangione eligible for the death penalty if convicted. Attorney General Pam Bondi has signaled her intention to pursue the death penalty in the case. Mangione's attorneys say Bondi's statement, which was given before their client was federally indicted, quote, prejudiced the grand jury process. Mangione has already pleaded not guilty to New York state charges, including first-degree murder in the furtherance of an act of terrorism. In New York City, Tanya J. Powers.
One day from the funeral of Pope Francis, and the Vatican is making final preparations.
The Vatican says 130 foreign delegations will attend the funeral mass on Saturday morning. 50 heads of state, including President Donald Trump, along with the First Lady. They're also preparing for at least 200,000 people to descend on St. Peter's Square and the surrounding area. Pope Francis's burial site has been prepared, a marble tomb marked only Franciscus. It's in the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. A slow procession will comprise the late pontiff's final journey. Jonathan Savage.
It's 61. It's 7:03. FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
A use of force incident is under investigation in Neosho.
Surveillance videos gone viral on Facebook showing multiple officers surrounding a teenage boy who was walking along a city road. Words are exchanged. One officer pushes the teen and another takes him down to the ground. Now, what happened before the incident to cause that is unknown at this time, but Neosho Police Chief Jason Baird says that the Highway Patrol has launched an unbiased review of the events, and he promises transparency and accountability. You can see the video in question inside this story at newstalkkzrg.com. I'm Ty Albright for News Talk KZRG.
State lawmakers across the U.S. have introduced at least 240 anti-China proposals this year. A new Kansas law covers artificial intelligence and medical equipment, and another greatly limits property ownership within 100 miles of a military installation by firms and people tied to foreign adversaries. While in Arkansas, the targets include sister city ties and state and local contracts for promotional items. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders says either the U.S. or China will lead the world over the next few decades, and she wants to make sure it's us. It's 61 degrees, 704. If you see news, text us at 417-782-1310, FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
In Kansas, a total of $14.5 million has been released for 47 aviation projects across the state through the Kansas Airport Improvement Plan. Program, that is. Funding was approved for airports in Iola, Pittsburgh, Chanute, Fort Scott, and Parsons in southeast Kansas. You can see a complete list of airports statewide inside the KZRG app.
A major music festival begins today. Monica DeLuca has the lineup.
Just over 60 artists are billed to perform across Stagecoach Music Festival's 3 stages.
I'm just a long-haired son of a sinner.
Jelly Roll, Zach Bryan, and Luke Combs are set to headline the Country Music Festival this year, which returns to the Empire Polo Club this weekend. Former Van Halen lead singer and frontman Sammy Hagar also holds a headlining position after the alternative rock band Goo Goo Dolls. It's not just country music. You'll also find artists like T-Pain, Lana Del Rey, Nelly, Diplo, and the Backstreet Boys. Monica DeLuca.
And now, your 705 code word.
Your 705 code word is freedom. Text the word freedom to 417-782-1310 for your daily shot at $100 quick cash with KZRG Quick Cash. Freedom is that 705 code word. Now with sports, here's Lucas Davis on News Talk KZRG.
In MLB action, the Cardinals were off on Thursday and host a 3-game series with the Brewers with the opener set for tonight at 7:15. You can hear that game on our sister station, AM 1230, The Talker. Kansas City hosted a twin bill with Colorado and came away with the sweep. The Royals won the opener 7-4. Salvador Perez had 2 hits, 2 RBI, and Kyle Isbell drove in 3 with a pair of hits. The Royals built a 5-0 lead on the way to a 6-2 win over the Rockies in Game 2 to finish off the Brooms. Perez went 3 for 4 with a double and a homer, 2 RBI, and a run scored. Michael Lorenzen earned the win after allowing 1 over 6 innings with 7 Ks. In NFL news, the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft took place on Thursday, with Miami quarterback Cam Ward going number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. The Kansas City Chiefs selected Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons with the 32nd pick. In prep baseball, Carl Junction earned a 4-1 win over Hillcrest. Neosho beat Republic 6-0. And Springfield Catholic beat Joplin 10-6. Lucas Davis, KZRG. Your news is a service of Galena Liberty Pawn. Sell your unwanted gold and silver direct to the refiner for the top dollar. They also sell gold and silver bullion. Galena Liberty Pawn, 708 South Main in Galena, Kansas. I'm Lucas Davis.
I'm Ted Bojorquez.
Next news at 7:30. Breaking news as it happens. FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith.
Here is your KZRG forecast. A few showers, some thunder, mainly this morning. 74 today. Tomorrow, showers and storms in the afternoon. 68 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith in the KZRG Storm Center.
Weather's a service of Indigo Sky Casino. Fridays in April from 6 to 10 p.m., play for your chance to win up to $10,000 cash at the area's premier gaming destination. See IndigoSkyCasino.com for details and daily promotions.
KZRG Storm Tracker showing a little fog in the area. It's 61 degrees in Neosho, 61 in Pittsburgh, 61 in Galena, 61 in Joplin. 100 weather updates every 24 hours on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and in your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. KZRG News Time, 7:08.
I'm Jamie Bridgewater, owner of Bridgewater Roofing. Thank you for trusting Bridgewater Roofing for over 25 years. We are experienced roofers, not just salesmen. And because we are actual roofers, we know how to repair, replace, install, maintain roofs, and shoot you straight about what your roof needs. We've covered the 4 states for over 25 years, and we're ready to cover you too. Learn more at BridgewaterRoofing.net.
Bridgewater Roofing takes care of you.
All of us need to be prepared to defend ourselves and our families, and we need to start with the less lethal option to avoid the legal complications associated with firearms. Byrna has their less lethal pistol launcher. It is equipped with tear gas and kinetic ammunition. It is designed to incapacitate any attacker for up to 40 minutes. Go to their website, byrna.com/Hannity. Right now, you'll get 10% off. Let me tell you this Byrna story. Bob was at home. An intruder physically forced his way inside. Now, luckily, Bob had just received his Byrna 4 days prior to this incident, and he used it to get the man outside and off of his property. Byrna, it's legal in all 50 states. There's no background check needed. It can be shipped directly to your door. Now, see the powerful technology that is Byrna. Go to their website, byrna.com/Hannity. Right now, you'll get 10% off. That's byrna.com/Hannity today.
Living in the 4 states, you know who to call when your roof needs work. Cole and the guys at Superior Roofing. And when you're looking for just the right tool for the right job or a new plant for your front porch, you go see Chris and John at Hinkle's Ace Hardware. And when you want the smile of your dreams, you see Dr. Kirk and Dr. Postjan at Joplin Family Dental. You know these businesses because each of them took the time, the leap, and invested in their brand with a transformation at Zimmer Marketing. Hey, I'm Chuck Mefford, and we've helped countless businesses all over the country build their brands, and more importantly, showed them how they can actually measure the success of their marketing budget. Doesn't matter what your business is, the system can work for any category or industry, including yours. And just like Superior Roofing, Hinkle's Ace Hardware, and Joplin Family Dental, let's make your business a household name with a brand transformation. You can get started on your brand transformation today at ZimmerMarketing.com. And welcome to the Zimmer Marketing family.
Living in Lamar, I know the value of access to local medical clinics. I also know how important it is to be valued as a person, not a number. Access Family Care wants to keep you healthy. We will help with prevention advice on everything from diabetes to cancer to HIV. We accept all Missouri Medicaid plans, Access Family Care, health care for your entire family. For more information, visit us at accessfamilycare.org.
Quality, compassionate healthcare. accessfamilycare.org.
From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk KZRG.
Lucas Davis and Tampa Horquez on News Talk KZRG. Looking like it's 61 degrees out there in Pittsburgh, 61 in Joplin area. A little fog out, a little patchy rain. Might see some thunderstorms later. We'll see how that works out. We are... Let's see what we got going on here. Ted's sitting here, leaving me out to dry on the radio, so I'm just kind of hanging on, hoping not to embarrass myself too much.
We were going to be joined this morning by Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson,
He's back.
but it would appear that he might be tied up with something. So hopefully he'll be joining us in just a few moments here. If and when he does, we'll get him patched in. But something we were going to be talking to him about this morning was this Schreiber Foods plant. Schreiber Foods was going to be expanding their operations in the Carthage area. Unfortunately, they decided that's actually not going to be a thing.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. Now, in December of last year, News Talk KZRG reported that Schreiber Foods, they were going to build that new plant. It was going to be 168,000 square foot production facility. It was going to be a $211 million investment and was expected to create 150 new local jobs.
That's the big one that hurts right there.
Job loss. The local jobs, 150 of them. Those are no small P's and Q's. That's a big deal. And it was going to be coming to Carthage. Unfortunately, like I said, Schreiber Foods announced actually we're not going to be doing that. And the reason for it, reportedly, is due to uncertain economic conditions. Now, Lucas, what are your thoughts on all this?
For me, I mean, like I said, it's a bummer that this is happening. I get it on the economic uncertainty, but at the same time, I feel like it was always economic uncertainty. Even when they announced the plan, it's not like our economy was in great shape to begin with. So this is a bummer, but you would like to know more in depth on kind of why they made this decision. What exactly are the economic uncertainties? If we could get those answers, because like I said, we've had economic uncertainty for the past however many years.
Right. And joining us live right now here on News Talk KCRG is Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson. Congressman, how you doing today?
Doing great. Good morning, guys.
Good morning to you, sir. Well, Congressman, we were just talking about this, and I'm very eager to get your thoughts on it. Schreiber Foods, they are a big employer in the area in southwest Missouri. They were going to be expanding their Carthage plant, but they announced they won't be doing that due to, quote, uncertain economic conditions, end quote. Now, my question for you this morning, Congressman, is now that Trump's, I mean, look, I don't think it's much of a mystery as to what they're referring to, the tariffs, the trade wars, the economic winning and waning of taking those tariffs on, putting them off, changing them, all that. My question for you is, now that they're having tangible and direct impacts, these national heady conversations, 150 jobs were coming to the area. They no longer are as a result. Are you taking these concerns with you to D.C.? Are you talking to your cohort about how to mitigate the effects of these economic big brain moves here?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I think that the more that we have more insights that we've been given, we had Ray Dalio, for example, come in and give a briefing to the budget committee, and I went and sat in on that. And it was a startling, there were some startling economic numbers that really, it indicated that had Trump not been elected, we economically were in a cycle that we were going to experience a not just a recession, but potentially a severe recession, if not depression. We're at a place where we have high interest rates, and the interest rates are not able to bring down inflation. And then you've got a slowing of the economy. So with those high interest rates, it's causing businesses, and it will cause businesses to slow up and to hold back on their growth. And so this is how the cycle this is how economic cycles work. And because of the overspending of the Biden administration and Congress, it kicked off all of these problems. And while people love it when government spends money, the truth is that at some point you have to sober up and pay for it later. And we're in that sobering period. What Trump is trying to do is accelerate our economic growth, get us above the normal 1.5, which is like what has become the standard over the Biden-Obama years, is about a 1.5% GDP growth. If you can get above that, if you can start accelerating growth, and you do so by encouraging companies to come over, from other countries, come particularly from China, back into the United States, then that's what we're seeing. And I will say, we are seeing that. I'm seeing this as a lawmaker, that we're seeing a lot of businesses that are trying to figure out how to get back into the United States. They like the taxes, that the corporate taxes that Trump passed in 2017. They want to experience the benefits of not having to have the high trade tariffs, and they want to find ways that we can encourage them to be here. So I'm doing things like I have a bill or language that has to do with doing an international 1031 exchange, for example, for manufacturers who want to move to the United States. We're looking at trying to carve out for any manufacturer that's breaking ground to migrate their manufacturing back to the United States, to give them a reprieve on their tariffs. So there's a lot of things that we're trying to do to change the dynamic and the sucking sound of all the manufacturing jobs that have been going out the door to other countries for the past decades. This is a huge ship, and and Donald Trump just took control, and it's going to take a lot to slow it, to stop this and turn it in a better direction. So it's frustrating that there's some companies that are holding back, but I think that when the fact that we are not in a severe recession at this point is a miracle. And I think the only thing that's giving us some form of hope is because people realize that there's some light at the end of this tunnel.
It's Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson here on News Talk KZRG. We're talking about Schreiber Foods that was going to be expanding in Carthage, no longer is. To push back on you a little bit, though, Congressman, yes, I think that perhaps we're on a better path than we might have been if the Biden had been reelected. But Schreiber Foods, they announced this expansion during Biden's administration. And they didn't just wake up one morning and announce it. They drew up the plans. I mean, that takes a long process. Assumably, they did that in the 4 years Biden was in office, considering they announced it when he was in office. So they were going to expand then, and now we have the economic turmoil we have now, and now they're not expanding. I mean, isn't that a pretty clear indication that maybe in the long term there's hopes for Trump's plan, but certainly in the short term, you know, Carthage lost out on 150 blue-collar jobs.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know that they're impacted as much by the tariffs as others, but I would say in general, the interest rates probably have a greater impact on businesses right now. And the one thing that we can do that we need to focus on is getting our interest rates down, because when because it takes debt to grow a business, and it's it's difficult to grow when you're having to pay high interest rates. So I think I can totally understand why a business like Schreiber Foods is waiting for the interest rates to come down and have some form of certainty before moving forward.
And so, Congressman Burleson, how do we get those interest rates down? Is that on the backs of Congress? Is that on the Treasury? How does that work?
It's really on the backs of Congress and the spending. So Trump is doing everything he can through executive action. He's getting sued left and right, but he's getting sued left and right because Congress has appropriated these funds in the past. We need to claw back the spending, and if you claw back the spending, I'll kind of walk this through. When Congress spends more money than it brings in, we're basically printing money. And we're taking it out through debt. People have to pay it no matter what, through taxes today or taxes tomorrow, or through inflation. If we can slow the growth of spending, then what that means is we will stop taking out debt. When we take out debt, we are the number one buyer of debt. So when we go to the market and people are buying our bonds, those bonds could be bought by corporations. They could be bought by individuals trying to get a mortgage. So we are basically the federal government is driving up, because of our high demand for debt, we are driving up interest rates. And if we can pull back our spending, we will cause two things to happen. We will cause inflation to go down, and we will cause interest rates to go down. But it's just going to have to take people. I mean, I'm doing everything I can. I'm considered one of the flies in the ointment, one of the fiscal hawks screaming for spending cuts. And my colleagues, many of them, I would say a third of them are with me. They need the courage of Donald Trump to come in and convince the rest of the members of Congress that we have to cut spending.
It's Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson here on News Talk KZRG. Congressman, we're up against the clock here, but very quickly, I wanted to get your thoughts. We're seeing a lot of rulings be thrown around right now regarding Trump's immigration actions. Pretty much every other day, there's some judge somewhere ruling. We've talked to you about this before, but there's been calls to start booting these judges from their role. Do you think that's what needs to happen? Do you think there's another way to solve this issue, or do you think this is just the process working out and just let sleeping dogs lie type thing?
No, I think that this is absurd, and I think that Chief Justice Roberts should be ashamed of himself. Like he needs to step in and end this, because it's really bad for the entire judicial system. But Congress has the authority. We have passed a bill before we went on recess. We passed a bill directly that dealt with these rogue judges. and limited their ability to overturn national law. And so the U.S. Senate needs to take that up and pass that. But we also can do more. We can defund these judges. We can pass more bills. At the end of the day, one of the things that Congress could pass that I'm hearing chatter about is the writ of suspending habeas corpus for these illegal immigrants, because they at the end, it's remarkable to me they don't. Under previous administrations, under Clinton, under Obama, they didn't. Most of the people were removed without any due process. They came here without any due process, illegally, and they were removed without the due process because they're not U.S. citizens. And yet somehow Trump is to be treated differently. That's not acceptable. And I think that what Congress could do in order to eliminate their ability to have to petition for due process is to suspend the habeas corpus. So it's something that I'm exploring, and I think that we'll have to have some conversations about.
Right. It's Missouri U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Have a great day.
We'll talk to you again next week, Congressman. KZRG News Time, 7:25.
Here is your KZRG forecast. We are in and out of the rain this weekend, though it's not a complete washout. A few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder today, mainly in the morning. Will turn out sunny later on this afternoon, 74 the high. Tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, 68. And scattered thunder showers Sunday, 76 the high Sunday. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith in the KZRG Storm Center.
If you get a friend's night out, make it count. Do something different, something memorable. Get to the only place that's forged for fun. Anvil Axe Company. Check out their interactive targets and play games everyone loves, like Battleship and Catchphrase with throwing axes. Or enjoy cornhole, darts, ping pong, plus the snack bar with ice cold beer. Plus, you can join axe throwing leagues for all levels. Grab your friends and try something new at Anvil Axe Company, just south of Joplin, or book online at anvilaxeco.com. After being cooped up all winter, it's time to get out and have some fun at the only event space in the area that's forged for fun. Anvil Axe Company and Event Center. They're ready to host your next event, from weddings and graduation parties to bachelor and bachelorette parties, axe throwing, projected interactive targets, cornhole, and outdoor patio with fire pits and catering options from upscale to affordable favorites. Anvil Axe Company, just south of Joplin. Book online at anvilaxeco.com.
In the early stage, it's a persistent cough and weight loss, no longer wanting to exercise, and a decreased appetite. Then, labored breathing and wheezing, maybe a swollen abdomen, and so thirsty. And in the advanced stage, fainting, heart failure, extreme lethargy, and nosebleeds. And it all starts with your pet getting a mosquito bite. We're talking about heartworms. It's Heartworm Awareness Month, and Positive Care Vet Clinic wants to help your pet have a happy, healthy life with preventative care. Heartworm prevention is crucial because the disease can severely impact a pet's health, causing respiratory issues, reduced mobility, and even death if left untreated. Take your pet to Positive Care Vet Clinic for regular preventative medication. It's the best way to protect your pet and helps them stay healthy. And this month, receive a free heartworm test with any exam from Positive Care Vet Clinic. Get started today with Positive Care Vet Clinic at positivecare.vet. That's PAWSITIVE care.vet. When it comes to your pet, think positive.
It's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk KZRG.
It's Ted Bojorquez.
Lucas Davis.
On News Talk KZRG. Joining us live this morning is KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith. Terry, how you doing?
Hey, good. Good morning. It's nice to talk to both of you, including Lucas. I haven't chatted with Lucas much lately.
Long time no talk.
I know.
Lucas has been hiding.
Yes.
Terry, it's a little foggy out in the four states area this morning. What the heck's going on?
What the heck? Indeed. A couple of things are going on. One is that we did get a little bit of rain yesterday and overnight and early this morning, and I haven't checked the radar here in the last hour, but I know I saw some showers back to the west of us. So between the moisture that's on the ground and how humid it is, and the winds are fairly light, we have had some fog that has developed. But not to worry, we are going to get some drier air eventually, and so we'll get a chance to see some sunshine. But we still have a little bit of rain today. I was just checking radar. We've got some showers back to the west of us near Columbus and Commerce, some sprinkles, and some of that's making its way into southwestern Missouri as well. So a few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder this morning, and then the sunshine. And I'm not going to entirely rule out the possibility of some rain this afternoon, but it'll be kind of spotty, hopefully not too problematic. 74 the high today. Then a little more in the way of rain over the weekend. Showers and thunderstorms are likely tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be cooler, 68 tomorrow, and scattered thunderstorms Sunday, 76 the high. And then Monday, when we're all back at the work, that's when the dry weather and the sunshine return.
That's about right.
That's the most typical thing I've ever heard.
I'm sorry. I am the bearer of bad news.
Terry, what the heck?
That's all right. We don't shoot the messenger around here because
Hey.
we're a bunch of messengers ourselves.
I hear you.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll just have to roll with the punches, huh, Terry?
You'll roll with the punches. I know you will. And, if you've got outdoor plans, just do a quick check of the radar. It's not like it's going to rain all weekend long, but you might be able to squeeze in some time outside.
Well, that's good. It's KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith. Terry, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good to talk to you guys.
We'll talk to you again soon, Terry. KZRG News Time, 7:31.
At 7:31, I'm Lucas Davis.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
Here's what's trending on News Talk KZRG. Trump lawsuit's latest.
Mangione court date.
Pope's funeral approaching. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. We're heading for a high of 80. Your complete forecast with KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith following KZRG Sports at 7:38. Looks like the sun's trying to creep through the fog right now. It's 61 degrees in Neosho, 61 in Pittsburgh, 61 in Galena, and 61 in Joplin. On FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. President Donald Trump continues to face legal challenges over his executive orders on voting and immigration. Madeline Rivera with more.
A federal judge in D.C. has blocked a portion of President Trump's executive order to overhaul the way federal elections are run, targeting provisions requiring proof of citizenship before being allowed to register to vote. She argued under the Constitution, Congress and the states have the authority to regulate federal elections, not the president. Meantime, another judge in California blocked the Trump administration from stripping federal funds for sanctuary cities, saying the action would irreparably hurt these cities and counties. And finally, a Maryland judge ordered the government to bring back another man who was deported to El Salvador.
The man charged in the death of United Healthcare's CEO last year is due in federal court in New York City today.
Luigi Mangione is accused of shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a hotel in Midtown Manhattan in December. Earlier this month, a federal grand jury indicted him on 4 counts, including stalking, firearms offense, and murder through the use of a firearm, which makes Mangione eligible for the death penalty if convicted. Attorney General Pam Bondi has signaled her intention to pursue the death penalty in the case. Mangione's attorneys say Bondi's statement, which was given before their client was federally indicted, quote, prejudiced the grand jury process. Mangione has already pleaded not guilty to New York state charges, including first-degree murder in the furtherance of an act of terrorism. In New York City, Tanya J. Powers.
One day from the funeral of Pope Francis, and the Vatican is making final preparations.
The Vatican says 130 foreign delegations will attend the funeral mass on Saturday morning. 50 heads of state, including President Donald Trump, along with the First Lady. They're also preparing for at least 200,000 people to descend on St. Peter's Square and the surrounding area. Pope Francis's burial site has been prepared, a marble tomb marked only Franciscus. It's in the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. A slow procession will comprise the late pontiff's final journey. Jonathan Savage.
It's 61. It's 734, FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
A break in a Southwest Missouri cold case. News Talk KZRG's Steve Smith takes it from here.
In Springfield, 36-year-old Paul Bowles has been indicted for second-degree murder, rape, and sodomy in the death of 18-year-old Jennifer Williams. Williams went missing while walking home in Springfield on September 8th back in 1989. Her body was discovered about 2 weeks later. The indictment comes after new advances in DNA led to the testing of Williams' sexual assault kit that identified Bowles as a suspect. He's in custody in Greene County. Steve Smith, News Talk KZRG.
Well, there is concern that sharing the cost of road maintenance is not equitable between Jasper and Newton counties when it comes to Joplin. Jasper County Commissioner John Bartosh shared his view on the issue with News Talk KZRG.
We give Joplin Special $4 million a year. Newton County gives them $1 million a year, and they've got 147 miles of roads, and we've got 78 miles of roads that are in Jasper County. And they just commingle that money and spend it on all that.
Public hearings on this issue will be held April 29th for Jasper County at the Jasper County Courthouse in Carthage and May 7th for Newton County at Christ Community Church. You can get all the details at newstalkkzrg.com.
It's 61 degrees at 7:35. If you see news, text us at 417-782-1310. FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe has signed 2 bills into law dealing with ballot measures and class actions. Senate Bill 22 establishes a timely revision process to ensure summary statements are clear, accurate, and informative for voters, protecting against judicial overreach. Senate Bill 47 protects Missourians from predatory legal practices through stricter rules for council appointments, improving effective representation in class actions.
Now with sports, here's Lucas Davis on News Talk KZRG.
In MLB action, the Cardinals were off on Thursday and host a 3-game series with the Brewers with the opener set for tonight at 7:15. You can hear that game on our sister station AM 1230 The Talker. Kansas City hosted a twin bill with Colorado and came away with the sweep. The Royals won the opener 7-4. Salvador Perez had 2 hits, 2 RBI, and Kyle Isbell drove in 3 with a pair of hits. The Royals built a 5-0 lead on the way to a 6-2 win over the Rockies in Game 2 to finish off the Brooms. Perez went 3 for 4 with a double and a homer, 2 RBI, and a run scored. Michael Lorenzen earned the win after allowing 1 over 6 innings with 7 Ks. In NFL news, the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft took place on Thursday, with Miami quarterback Cam Ward going number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. The Kansas City Chiefs selected Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons with the 32nd pick. In prep baseball, Carl Junction earned a 4-1 win over Hillcrest. Neosho beat Republic 6-0, and Springfield Catholic beat Joplin 10-6. Lucas Davis, KZRG. Your News is a service of Galena Liberty Pawn. Sell your unwanted gold and silver direct to the refiner for top dollar. They also sell gold and silver bullion. Galena Liberty Pawn, 708 South Main, Galena, Kansas. I'm Lucas Davis with Ted Bajorquez. Next news at 8 o'clock. Breaking news as it happens. FM 102.9, 105.9. On your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith.
Here is your KZRG forecast. We are in and out of the rain this weekend, though it's not a complete washout. A few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder today, mainly in the morning. Will turn out sunny later on this afternoon, 74 the high. Tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, 68. And scattered thunder showers Sunday, 76 the high Sunday. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith in the KZRG Storm Center.
KZRG Storm Tracker radar showing clear in the 4-state area. The fog is starting to lift. 61 degrees in Neosho, 61 in Pittsburgh, 61 in Galena, and 61 in Joplin. 100 weather updates every 24 hours on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. KZRG News Time, 7:39.
Protect your livestock from black vultures. Get your depredation permit from Missouri Farm Bureau. Davin Altoff tells us how.
So if a producer sees a black vulture on their farm, I would highly encourage them to reach out to us at Missouri Farm Bureau. There's two ways that a producer can reach us. We have an email address, blackvultures@mofb.org, blackvultures@mofb.org, or they can reach us at 573-893-1417. 573-893-1417. I process the application and try to get them an approval letter as quickly as I can. And once they receive the approval letter, that is their permit in hand for them to be able to activate. That means they have the ability to take up to 10 black vultures.
The permit process is free, quick, and easy. Find out more at agriculture.mo.gov. agriculture.mo.gov.
Can I have dessert, Daddy-O? Let me see your plate. Oh, looks like you ate really good. Yeah, I finished all of my subfloor. So can I have dessert, pretty please? Okay, fine. There's some pine pie in the pantry. Help yourself.
Hey, I'm Doug. And I'm Rory from Bugaway Pest Control. Do you know if there's a termite buffet going on in your home?
At Bugaway Pest Control, we're the area's experts on termites.
The national chains may have a termite playbook that they use, but we're from here and we know what works here.
Remember, if you don't see our logo, it's a no-go.
We're the first pest control company in the area to offer Centricon, the #1 brand in termite protection. It's even used to protect the Statue of Liberty and the White House.
And we're the only place where you can get Doug and Rory's pest-free guarantee.
Get started on a termite inspection for your home at bugawaypc.com.
We do exactly what we say. We keep the bugs away.
Customer satisfaction is our #1 goal at Bugaway Pest Control.
I'm Joyce. I'm the treatment coordinator at Team Dental of Joplin.
I'm Mike Marquardt. I'm a patient of Team Dental.
Mike, I remember the first day you came in. We all just hit it off. We hit it off so well. In fact, we knew you were new to the area, so we invited you to a celebration at the office.
It was one of the, very sweet of you all. Team Dental has always been very gracious with, Shar and myself. I am graciously accepted. They're being always kind. And I think that's important when you go to the dentist. It's not the place that you always like to go to, but, going to the dentist is, it's a pleasure. I like to see the people.
Yeah, it is. So many people just dread going to the dentist, and we try to make it as pleasant as possible.
I'm Dr. Lemus from Team Dental of Joplin. Welcome to the neighborhood practice for your whole family. Learn more at teamdentalofjoplin.com.
Team Dental of Joplin, the neighborhood practice for your whole family.
From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. Ted Bojorquez, Lucas Davis, and Steve Scott. And joining us this morning live here on News Talk KZRG is Kansas Medicaid Inspector General Steve Anderson. Inspector General, how are you doing today?
Great, sir. How about you?
Very good, very good. Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate you joining us. I was excited to talk to you this morning, Inspector General, about some recent findings that you had in Kansas Medicaid. But before we get into that, for those that might not know what the Kansas Medicaid Inspector General does, can you walk us through your role and the responsibilities of your office briefly?
Sure. Our office is responsible for conducting investigations, audits, and reviews of the Medicaid program as well as overall Medicaid, and we also look at the CHIP program, which is the Children Health Insurance Program. So we look at all those programs. We look to make sure that they're efficient and effective, and we look for any fraud, waste, and abuse involving those programs, and we report that to the legislature as well as to the public.
Now, you had conducted a performance audit recently of Kansas Medicaid, and you said, and you and your office said you believe that Kansas could save up to $22.5 million every year with these findings. Can you walk us through how that is possible and what you found?
Sure. Yeah, here's the situation. The state of Kansas uses managed care organizations to handle their Medicaid payments. And then the state of Kansas pays those managed care organizations a monthly, they call it a capitation, but it's basically a premium for each individual. There's approximately 450,000 people on Medicaid in the state of Kansas. And what we found is in schools, children in schools are receiving programs or services such as speech therapies, occupational therapies, those type of coverages. And we are paying for those directly to the school, the state of Kansas is, via fee-for-service. So the school provides the service, they bill the state of Kansas, we pay them directly. But at the same time, we're paying the managed care organizations a premium to provide Medicaid coverage for the student whenever they're not in the school setting. Other states, the managed care organization bears the entire cost, which seems to be appropriate. Even the federal government says the managed care organization should be bearing the cost, but instead we're paying out ourselves, and it amounts to about $22.5 million per year that we're paying in fee-for-service claims that should be billed directly to the managed care organization and not directly to the state of Kansas.
So basically, sorry, this is exactly why I wanted to have you on this morning, Kansas's Medicaid Inspector General Steve Anderson, is this exact issue, specifically with these MCOs you're talking about. So basically, we're paying, or the state of Kansas is paying the MCOs and the school for the same service? So it's a duplication? Is that the issue?
It's not necessarily the same service. It's just that the MCOs being paid to provide all Medicaid coverage or all health care coverage for the individual, but for some reason the state has carved out and is paying for the school services separately. But during the summer months when the child's not in school, then the MCO is picking up the cost.
I see.
So we're saying, please, state, we need to move those costs over to the MCO and make them responsible for it. And it would require them to change their contract, but it's something they should be paying for.
Right. So the idea is kind of amending. This is something the MCO should have been doing to begin with, but Kansas was filling in the gaps where they weren't.
That's right. And part of it seems to stem from many years ago, the state of Kansas was 100% fee-for-service, and then they went to a managed care process back in 2015, 2014 timeframe. And for some reason, that piece of it just never transferred over whenever we went managed care.
I see. It's Kansas Medicaid Inspector General Steve Anderson here on News Talk KZRG. We're talking about possible cost-saving measures for the state of Kansas when it comes to Medicaid. Now, with this change that it seems to me you are recommending, who's in charge of implementing that cost-saving measure? Is that you? Is that the legislature? Is that the governor? How does that work?
It'll be the legislature that will have to do that, but also the state agency that has oversight over that is the Kansas Department of Health and Environment. They're responsible for that, and they'll have to do that, but it most likely will require legislative change. And the legislature is very interested in cost-saving measures like this. And the state, both the House and the Senate now have meetings on government efficiency, much like the federal DOJ committee. So they're very interested in those type of things.
Mm-hmm. It's Kansas Medicaid Inspector General Steve Anderson on News Talk KZRG. Speaking of possible legislative changes, you had also noted, Inspector General, in a recent report that school Medicaid service providers are not subject to routine background checks. In fact, according to your office in your most recent audit, only 31% had proof of completed background checks. What do you recommend on this issue?
We recommend that schools have background checks done on all employees, and it goes from certified teachers all the way down to a teacher's aide, a para, a bus driver, cook. We found that a lot of the people who do not have background checks are the speech therapists and the paras, people who sometimes will spend one-on-one time with students. And bear in mind, some of the students have health conditions that make them nonverbal, or make them where they cannot easily communicate. These people who would be easily victimized because they would have a difficult time telling somebody that they had been victimized. And schools don't do that. And the State Department of Education leaves it up to each individual school board on whether or not they want to do background checks. And because of that, you have a kind of a hodgepodge or a patchwork situation across the state where some school districts do full background checks, others do very few background checks. And interestingly, we put it in our report is when we'd asked for records from the various school districts, some of the school districts provided us the fact that they had background checks done, but some of them, they did them after our request. They were dated after that. So it told us they didn't actually have them done prior to that.
Now, Kansas Medicaid Inspector General Steve Anderson here on News Talk KZRG. Have you talked to the legislature in Kansas about this issue, and what was their response to it, if so?
We have brought it to the legislature's attention, and they're working on it. In fact, we had a draft bill that didn't make it through the legislative session this year, but we're going to reintroduce it again at the next legislative session to require background checks for all school employees.
Nice. It's Kansas Medicaid Inspector General Steve Anderson here on News Talk KZRG. Inspector General, we're up against the clock just a little bit here, but I was hoping, as the Kansas Medicaid Inspector General, if you could give us sort of a 10,000-foot view on how the state is handling its Medicaid. Generally speaking, do you think it's a fairly tight ship? Is it full of flaws? Is there a lot of fraud that you're finding? What would you say on that front?
Well, we have a pretty good group with the state that's trying, and they work cooperatively with our office, but there is a tremendous amount of fraud. We know in a program as big as Medicaid, Medicaid makes up $5.5 billion per year in the state of Kansas. And just as a general rule of thumb, it's just understood that you're typically going to lose about 10% to fraud. So if you think about that, that's over $500 million per year that's potentially lost to fraud. And the fraudsters work very hard, and they're very ingenious with their fraud schemes. I would ask that if anybody is aware of anything that they consider to be fraud and they'd like to report it, they can contact our office at medicaidig@ag.ks.gov. That's medicaidig@ag.ks.gov. And our phone number, they can call 785-296-5050.
Wow, 10% as a rule of thumb. That is crazy. Now, are you solely responsible, you and your team solely responsible for outsmarting these fraudsters, or are there other government entities within the state of Kansas that assist you?
We are the only state entity that's looking at the fraud per se for this. The federal government has the Health and Human Services Office of Inspector General, who also does some work, but they're short-staffed. They're spread across many states. So we are kind of the primary office for that. And, our office really didn't come into being until 2019. I came on board as the IG in 2021, and I had a staff of 3 people. We've since grown to 10 people, and we've asked for more, but the resources, or the return on investment for us is significant. We have, in the past 3 years, we've identified $299 million in wasteful spending, $6.2 million in overpayments, and we've identified $24.9 million in savings, and that's outside of this recent audit with the school, where we've identified that additional $22.5 million in savings. So we've identified an awful lot of opportunities for fraud, waste, and abuse that are going on. We're working with the state to close those loopholes or to fix those issues, but it's a big task.
Boy, howdy, I'll say. Well, thank you for all of your diligent work in this, Kansas Medicaid Inspector General Steve Anderson. And one more time, if you don't mind, for those that might want to report fraud or alleged fraud, where do they go again?
They can go to Medicaid IG, it's all crammed together, at ag.ks.gov, or they can call 785-296-5050.
Kansas Medicaid Inspector General Steve Anderson, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Take care.
As do you, sir. That was Kansas Medicaid Inspector General Steve Anderson here on News Talk KZRG. Hey, coming up next, your chance to win a complimentary taco, free chips and salsa from Ghetto Tacos on News Talk KZRG.
Here is your KZRG forecast. We are in and out of the rain this weekend, though it's not a complete washout. A few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder today, mainly in the morning. Will turn out sunny later on this afternoon, 74 the high. Tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, 68. And scattered thunder showers Sunday, 76 the high Sunday. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith in the KZRG Storm Center.
What gets in the way of eating your favorite foods? What prevents you from smiling in pictures of your most memorable moments? For so many, it's the almighty dollar. The cost is often the deal breaker for the smile that you deserve. But with dental centers, it doesn't have to be. Of course, Mid-America Dental and Hearing Center accepts insurance from Delta Dental, Guardian, Aetna, United, Humana, and over 200 more insurance providers. But they can also help with Care Credit, so you can finally get your dental work completed. Don't let cost keep you from getting the dental care you need. See how you can get the dental care that works for your budget with dental centers.
I'm Brian George, CEO of Mid-America Dental and Hearing Center, just off of I-44, Exit 44, and at midamericadental.com. Changing lives and making smiles at dental centers.
Our best for less in a day at Dental Center.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Big John's is here. They'll clean your space. Roll off dumpsters. They work fast paced. Moving out evictions too will help you clean. No stress for you. When life gets messy, they'll lend a hand. Big John's roll off. Add them to your plan. Selling mom's house, they'll clear the place. Call Big John's. They're on the case.
I'm the Big John with Big John's Roll-Off Service. Whether you're moving out, cleaning your parents' home to sell, or just need some help with spring cleaning, Big John's now offers clean-out assistance, and that can help save you time, reduce stress, and ensure that your items are properly disposed of. See for yourself why we're the fastest-growing roll-off and construction company in the 4 states, and give us a call for cleanup assistance today, 417-540-0663. When you've got big waste, you need Big John's Roll-Off Service.
Big on service, big on savings. Big John's.
Spring specials have sprung at City Point Beauty Academy. Hi, I'm Paige Merriman, the admissions coordinator at City Point Beauty Academy. We would like to invite you to give your skin a fresh spring glow with a glazed donut facial for only $42. Or you can unwind with a massage and receive aromatherapy, cupping, hot stones, or deep tissue as a free add-on. You can also visit our salon and take advantage of a free K18 hair treatment with any purchased hair color service. All work is supervised by a licensed professional. Find all of our services and specials at citypointbeauty.com.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad.
Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Hey, you know, living in the country or in a small town has its benefits. You know your neighbors, you got breathable air, life is good, but slow internet is kind of the way it goes out here. Your video calls are laggy, websites load at a snail's pace. Well, there's one company that can help us folks out here. They're called Whisper, like whisper without the H. They bring high-speed internet to rural places. No contracts, no hidden fees, with a satisfaction guarantee or your money back. Check them out at whisperisp.com.
It's the KZRG Morning Challenge.
Your chance right now to win a complimentary taco and chips and salsa from Ghetto Taco.
To win will be the first on the phone with the correct answer at 417-782-1310. Today's question is an easy one. What is the number one cause of allergies in the springtime?
I thought it was going to be what happens if Ted walks all over me one more time.
417-782-1310. What is the number one cause of allergies in the springtime? And I'll give you a hint. It is absolutely the answer you are thinking of. Not a trick question, just a total give me. Basically, absolutely free tacos and chips and salsa from Ghetto Tacos. You don't even need to earn this one. This isn't even a tough trivia question. 417-782-1310. What is the number one cause of allergies in the springtime? KZRG, what is your guess?
Pollen.
That is correct. It's pollen. Who do we got here?
Arthur.
Hey, Arthur, what's your favorite radio station?
Oh, KZRG.
Oh, love to hear it, Arthur. Love to hear it. Are you a allergy guy? Do you get a lot of allergies?
Oh, all the time. Yes.
Well, that is a classic shame. Hey, Arthur, don't go anywhere, man. We're going to be with you in just a moment here, and you, my friend, have just won a complimentary taco, free chips and salsa from Ghetto Tacos. Stay on the line here, Arthur. Yeah, pollen, number one cause of allergies in the springtime. Who would have thunk, huh? That's a real brain scratcher, huh, Lucas?
Yeah, I'm allergic to Ted. That's what my guess would have been.
Hey, coming up after the news in about 10 minutes here, we are going to be joined by clinical psychologist Dr. Catherine Tepper. We're going to be talking to her about National Autism Acceptance Month, which is, and this is true, this month. That's coming up in 10 minutes here. In 5 minutes, your next code word for your shot at $100 cold hard cash. Good morning.
The Four States News, Talk, and Severe Weather Station. KZRG, KIXQ HD2, Joplin. A free service of Zimmer Marketing.
At 8 o'clock, I'm Lucas Davis.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
Here's what's trending on News Talk KZRG. Trump lawsuit's latest. Mangione court date. Pope's funeral approaching. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. We're heading for a high of 80. Your complete forecast with KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith following KZRG Sports at 8:08. Sun is peeking through. Still a little cloudy out right now. It's 61 in Neosho, 61 in Pittsburgh, 61 in Galena, and 61 in Joplin. FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. President Donald Trump continues to face legal challenges over his executive orders on voting and immigration. Madeline Rivera, more with Washington.
A federal judge in D.C. has blocked a portion of President Trump's executive order to overhaul the way federal elections are run, targeting provisions requiring proof of citizenship before being allowed to register to vote. She argued under the Constitution, Congress and the states have the authority to regulate federal elections, not the president. Meantime, another judge in California blocked the Trump administration from stripping federal funds for sanctuary cities, saying the action would irreparably hurt these cities and counties. And finally, a Maryland judge ordered the government to bring back another man who was deported to El Salvador.
The man charged in the death of United Healthcare CEO last year is due in federal court today in New York City.
Luigi Mangione is accused of shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a hotel in Midtown Manhattan in December. Earlier this month, a federal grand jury indicted him on 4 counts, including stalking, firearms offense, and murder through the use of a firearm, which makes Mangione eligible for the death penalty if convicted. Attorney General Pam Bondi has signaled her intention to pursue the death penalty in the case. Mangione's attorneys say Bondi's statement, which was given before their client was federally indicted, quote, prejudiced the grand jury process. Mangione has already pleaded not guilty to New York state charges, including first-degree murder in the furtherance of an act of terrorism. In New York City, Tanya J. Powers.
One day from the funeral of Pope Francis, and the Vatican is making final preparations. Jonathan Savage will be there.
The Vatican says 130 foreign delegations will attend the funeral mass on Saturday morning. 50 heads of state, including President Donald Trump, along with the First Lady. They're also preparing for at least 200,000 people to descend on St. Peter's Square and the surrounding area. Pope Francis's burial site has been prepared, a marble tomb marked only Franciscus. It's in the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. A slow procession will comprise the late pontiff's final journey. Jonathan Savage.
It's 61 and 8:03, FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
A use of force incident is under investigation in Neosho.
Surveillance videos gone viral on Facebook showing multiple officers surrounding a teenage boy who was walking along a city road. Words are exchanged. One officer pushes the teen and another takes him down to the ground. Now, what happened before the incident to cause that is unknown at this time, but Neosho Police Chief Jason Baird says that the Highway Patrol has launched an unbiased review of the events, and he promises transparency and accountability. You can see the video in question inside this story at newstalkkzrg.com. I'm Ty Albright for News Talk KZRG.
With rain and storms in the forecast often during the spring season, now's the time you'll see unwanted guests in your home. Rory Hansen of Bugaway Pest Control told News Talk KZRG that ants are one of the biggest pests this time of year.
They're like little barometers. So anytime a storm's coming or rain's coming or something like that, they're moving in, trying to get out of the weather, find a safe harborage for them to just basically overnight in or something like that. So a lot of times people won't have them one day, and literally the next day they'll just be inundated with ants. If
you have any pest control problems, you can find more information on Bugaway inside the KZRG app. It's 61 degrees. At 8:04, if you see news, text us at 417-782-1310. It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
Yesterday, Kansas Governor Lori Kelly signed a bipartisan compromise to expand access to child care services and to consolidate existing early childhood programs into the Office of Early Childhood. Governor Kelly signed the bill into law during a ceremony at the Kansas Children's Discovery Center in Topeka. Under this legislation, nearly 20 existing state programs serving young children and families will be consolidated into one Office of Early Childhood. The office will officially open in mid-2026. You can get all the details inside the KZRG app.
A major music festival begins today. Monica DeLuca with more.
Just over 60 artists are billed to perform across Stagecoach Music Festival's 3 stages.
I'm just a long-haired son of a sinner.
Jelly Roll, Zach Bryan, and Luke Combs are set to headline the Country Music Festival this year, which returns to the Empire Polo Club this weekend. Former Van Halen lead singer and frontman Sammy Hagar also holds a headlining position after the alternative rock band Goo Goo Dolls. It's not just country music. You'll also find artists like T-Pain, Lana Del Rey, Nelly, Diplo, and the Backstreet Boys. Monica DeLuca.
Now with sports, here's Lucas Davis on News Talk KZRG.
In MLB action, the Cardinals were off on Thursday and host a 3-game series with the Brewers with the opener set for tonight at 7:15. You can hear that game on our sister station AM 1230 The Talker. Kansas City hosted a twin bill with Colorado and came away with the sweep. The Royals won the opener 7-4. Salvador Perez had 2 hits, 2 RBI, and Kyle Isbell drove in 3 with a pair of hits. The Royals built a 5-0 lead on the way to a 6-2 win over the Rockies in Game 2 to finish off the Brooms. Perez went 3 for 4 with a double and a homer, 2 RBI, and a run scored. Michael Lorenzen earned the win after allowing 1 over 6 innings with 7 Ks. In NFL news, the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft took place on Thursday, with Miami quarterback Cam Ward going number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. The Kansas City Chiefs selected Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons with the 32nd pick. In prep baseball, Carl Junction earned a 4-1 win over Hillcrest. Neosho beat Republic 6-0, and Springfield Catholic beat Joplin 10-6. Lucas Davis, KZRG. Your news is a service of Galena Liberty Pawn. Sell your own at gold and silver direct to the refiner for top dollar. They also sell gold and silver bullion. Galena Liberty Pawn, 708 South Main, Galena, Kansas. I'm Lucas Davis.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
Next news at 8:30. Breaking news as it happens. FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith.
Here is your KZRG forecast. A few showers, some thunder, mainly this morning. 74 today. Tomorrow, showers and storms in the afternoon. 68 tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith in the KZRG Storm Center.
Weather's a service of Indigo Sky Casino. Fridays in April from 6 to 10 p.m., play for your chance to win up to $10,000 cash at the area's premier gaming destination. See IndigoSkyCasino.com for details and daily promotions.
KZRG Storm Tracker radar showing clear in the 4-state area, 61 in Neosho, 61 in Pittsburgh, 61 in Galena, and 61 in Joplin. 100 weather updates every 24 hours on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
All of us need to be prepared to defend ourselves and our families, and we need to start with the less lethal option to avoid the legal complications associated with firearms. Byrna has their less lethal pistol launcher. It is equipped with tear gas and kinetic ammunition. It is designed to incapacitate any attacker for up to 40 minutes. Go to their website, byrna.com/Hannity. Right now, you'll get 10% off. Let me tell you this Byrna story. Bob was at home. An intruder physically forced his way inside. Now, luckily, Bob had just received his Byrna 4 days prior to this incident, and he used it to get the man outside and off of his property. Byrna, it's legal in all 50 states. There's no background check needed. It can be shipped directly to your door. Now, see the powerful technology that is Byrna. Go to their website, byrna.com/Hannity. Right now, you'll get 10% off. That's byrna.com/Hannity today.
It's time now for your belated 805 code word. Your 805 code word is Friday. Text the word Friday to 417-782-1310 for your daily shot at $100 cash. That belated 805 code word is Friday.
When you got a clog that can't be beat, when your shower water is above your feet, when you flush that bowl and it makes you frown,
Spring River makes that drain go down.
Hi, this is Nathan Terry with Spring River Drain and Sewer. I was trained as a plumber in the United States Air Force, and now I'm proud to be your hometown plumber. Our licensed drain experts at Spring River are ready to tackle any drain or septic problem. We use flat rate pricing and don't charge by the hour, so you know the price before we even show up. And we don't make you wait. We pride ourselves on quick service. And we'll inspect your drain with a camera to make sure the job is done right at no additional charge. Contact Spring River Drain and Sewer and get started on fixing your sewer or drains today. Schedule an appointment at springriverdrain.com. And remember,
Spring River makes that drain go down.
From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310 on the KZRG app, on your smart speaker, in the airwaves. It's KZRG. Ted Bojorquez, Lucas Davis, and Steve Scott. And joining us live this morning is clinical psychologist Dr. Katie Tepper. Dr. Tepper, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us, Dr. Tepper. You're joining us this morning to talk about something that's really very important, and that is the fact that this month is National Autism Acceptance Month. Dr. Tepper, can you walk us through why a month like this is so important for families, communities, and really just us as humans, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, our world is always ever changing, and we have a lot of individuals with autism in our communities, and it's incredibly important as communities to recognize not only awareness of all of these individuals who have an autism spectrum disorder, but then also the acceptance that they definitely are incredibly valuable members of our society, and it's an ever-growing number of people, and so it's an incredibly important month for us.
It's clinical psychologist Dr. Katie Tepper on News Talk KZRG. Yes, awareness. Awareness is really important, and I was curious, you know, there's been so many iterations of awareness campaigns for something like autism in this country. In your opinion, has awareness campaigns been successful in the past, 5-10 years or so? Do you think that there's been a lot of headway being made with awareness and acceptance in this country?
You know, there's definitely a lot more awareness. I think we have a long road ahead of us in terms of acceptance, right? So as humans, we all experience the world in very different ways. And people with autism tend to experience it in an even different way. And so that can look like a lot of different things, but it's important to recognize that awareness is not the only thing, but accepting that those differences are incredibly valid and important to our society as a whole.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting delineation, Dr. Tepper, here on News Talk KZRG, the difference between awareness and acceptance. So you feel awareness has been up, acceptance maybe not so much. Is there something that we as community members can do to help bolster acceptance of autism?
I think that it's just really important to recognize that, people with autism might be experiencing the world differently, right? So if it's an overwhelming or an overstimulating situation, such as being in a restaurant or going to the zoo, kids and adults with autism might experiencing that differently. And the way that they portray that experience might just look different than it might look for somebody who doesn't have autism. So accepting that that's just the way that they're experiencing it can be incredibly valid and exciting as a society to say, wow, this could be really overstimulating, but they're here and they're excited and they're loving it, and they might be, showing that in a way that as a society we might not have seen before.
Right. It's clinical psychologist Dr. Katie Tepper here on News Talk KZRG. We're talking about National Autism Acceptance Month, which is this month. We're sitting at a KZRG news time of 8:15 in the morning. Speaking or sticking in line with this idea of acceptance, Dr. Tepper, anecdotally speaking, I always find that sometimes kids that are not autistic have the hardest time in understanding or sympathizing or accepting when they see maybe some of their classmates with autism, or they see, their friend's uncle has autism, something of that nature. Do you have advice to give to parents on how to explain to their kids how to be kind and respectful and helpful around those with autism?
Yeah, I think a really good way to explain that is that some things are easy for everybody, right? Sometimes going outside and playing is easy for some kids, and for other kids that's really hard because they have allergies. And there's other things that are hard for everybody. And so really helping kids to understand that they have things that are easy for them and they have things that are hard for them. And kids with autism have those exact same challenges, and they might just look a little bit different. And being a good friend is being a good friend, whether your friend has autism or not. But, being supportive of them in those situations, if they need space, allowing them that space. I think that as a society broadly, we like to just kind of, turn our kids away from things that might look different, right? And sometimes that can be really helpful, and other times that draws more attention to the challenges that somebody is having. And so, just recognizing that, it's okay to ask the questions. Are you okay? Do you need something from me? Is there something that could be helpful? And if the person says, no, I'm okay, then respecting that as well.
Yeah, and sometimes that is the best help you can give, Dr. Tepper, right, is space. You don't want too many cooks in the kitchen. And if they say no, or they don't respond in a way that perhaps the kid was expecting, to just give them space, right?
Yeah, give them space, and then also have the just kind of compassion to come back, right? It's going to be okay to come back to this in a moment. Give them some space, give them a little bit of a break, but then don't turn your back on them.
Right, exactly. It's clinical psychologist Dr. Tepper here on News Talk KZRG. We're talking about National Autism Acceptance Month. Something else I wanted to get your input on, Dr. Tepper, is the parents and family members of those with autism. But helping those with autism in a family can be very exhausting for the parents, for the siblings, things like that. And sometimes I feel like society doesn't give those parents or siblings of someone with autism enough grace and enough leeway. It can be exhausting. It can be tiring. Do you have advice for people that know someone that has an autistic child or sibling, how to help them out, help them help their sibling or kid? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, allowing a listening ear is always incredibly important. You're not going to fix everything about that person's day or their stresses or their challenges, but having somebody that has a really non-judgmental listening ear can go a long way. And providing just, opportunities to have experiences So, hey, we're headed to the park today. Do you guys want to join us? And if the family says yes or if they say no, that's totally fine. Invite them again the next time, right? And really just offering a listening ear, offering to be helpful in any way. It can also be a really nice thing to ask families, hey, when this happens, how would you like us to respond? And take that advice wholly. They have an idea of what they would like for society to do, and so out of the moment, right, when the child is in a calm space, asking the parent, hey, if that were to happen again, what would you like me to do? What would be helpful?
Yeah, that's really good advice, Dr. Tepper, is just be open and honest and communicate with them. Say, hey, I don't really know how to handle these situations. What is the best way to go about it? That's really smart.
Yeah, and I think also giving families a lot of credit, right? Wow, that was really hard, and you handled it beautifully.
Yeah. It's clinical psychologist Dr. Tepper here on News Talk KZRG. Dr. Tepper, if a parent thinks that their kid might have autism, what should they do?
The first place to start would be with their pediatrician and asking what the next steps from their pediatrician would be, and then the next step would be to seek an autism evaluation from. There's a variety of organizations that do this throughout Kansas City, throughout the state of Missouri. One of them being Children's Mercy, but there's a lot that do autism evaluations, and that evaluation should happen from somebody who has a lot of training in autism and autism evaluation specifically. So that can be a psychologist, it can be a developmental pediatrician, or a combination of those two.
It's clinical psychologist Dr. Tepper here on News Talk KZRG. We're talking about National Autism Acceptance Month, which is this month. Dr. Tepper, we're up against the clock a little bit here, but is there anything else you think people should know about National Autism Acceptance Month or about autism in general?
I think it's just really important to recognize that people with autism are phenomenal. They are incredible members of our society, just like every other person. And so accepting that they might experience the world in a different way is really exciting and a lot that we can learn from just as a society in general.
Yeah. It's clinical psychologist Dr. Tepper. Dr. Tepper, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thanks so much for having me.
We'll talk to you again soon, Dr. Tepper. We're sitting at a KZRG news time of 8:20. Good morning.
Here is your KZRG forecast. We are in and out of the rain this weekend, though it's not a complete washout. A few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder today, mainly in the morning. Will turn out sunny later on this afternoon, 74 the high. Tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, 68. And scattered thunder showers Sunday, 76 the high Sunday. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith in the KZRG Storm Center.
Spring's blooming in Joplin, and so are the allergies. Stuffy nose, itchy eyes, sneezing fits, pollen's hitting hard. Bug bites, too. When it's serious, American Family Care Joplin is your answer. They'll get you in, treated, and out the door in 45 minutes or less. Find compassionate allergy relief at American Family Care off 3rd and Rangeline behind Starbucks. Call 417-526-4232 or just walk in. American Family Care, the right care right now.
After months of cold, snow, and ice, it's time to head to the bay to get out in the sun, take a drive, and wash the gunk out of your bumper at Hurricane Car Wash.
No. Now is the time to get ready for a road trip, to rinse away all your worries and grime with a spa day at Hurricane Car Wash.
Are you more the hand-bathe type? You like a car wash where you can give your pride and joy the extra attention it deserves. You can find them at any Hurricane Car Wash location. Or maybe you like the spa-like relaxation of the automatic wash. Hurricane has those too. Touch-free or soft touch. Whatever kind of clean you prefer, you can find it at Hurricane Car Wash. In Carthage on Central Avenue and on Fur Road next to Walmart, on MacArthur Web City, or at hurricanecarwash.net. Plus, you can save money with an unlimited membership that works at any of their 3 area locations. Just download the Touch 4 Wash app to get started today. When the only thing strong enough to fight the dirt is a hurricane. Hurricane Car Wash.
What up, fellow Gen Xers? Elizabeth Banks here. As the original Latchkey kids, we took things into our own hands, like house keys. and video game controllers. And now it's time for us to do it again. Because the recommended age to get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. We're at over 6 times greater risk compared to adults under 50. So go to vaxassist.com and schedule. Gen X, this is our shot. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Here's a message that you need to present this weekend in a loving way to your parents and grandparents. It's a fact. In 2024, Americans aged 65 and older fell for scams that cost them $4.8 billion of their money. And every single one of these scams could have been avoided. And that's where you come in. I'm Kim Commando for ExpressVPN's secure servers that reroute my internet connection so that all my data is encrypted. Get an extra 4 months free right now at expressvpn.com/Kim. The heart of the message is this. Your bank, your government, city, state, or federal, post office, courts, police, IRS, Apple, Microsoft, or any other major entity will never call them, email, or text for anything, especially late taxes, unpaid traffic tickets, or warnings that their computer or bank account has been compromised. This will never happen. Always hang up and ignore. Sign up for my free newsletter at getkim.com. Every time you go online, internet providers track your every move. Here in the United States, they're selling our browsing history, even in private mode. Until that becomes illegal, protect yourself like I do with ExpressVPN, an easy-to-use app that encrypts and reroutes all your internet traffic through secure servers. By using ExpressVPN, my internet provider cannot see my browsing history. I can hide my IP address, the number identifying me, and my location online. And I can change my IP address to be more anonymous online. With servers in over 100 countries, I can appear virtually anywhere I choose. ExpressVPN is so easy to use. Get connected with a single button, with apps for every device like phones, laptops, desktops, and tablets. Get up to 4 months of ExpressVPN for free at expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. Go now while you're thinking about it. Get up to 4 extra months of ExpressVPN for free right now at expressvpn.com/Kim.
It's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk KZRG.
It's Ted Bojorquez.
Lucas Davis.
News Talk KZRG. Steve Scott is out today. He'll be back in the hot seat on Monday. Little fun fact, every single Zimmer Marketing employee is guaranteed 4 Taft days a year. Taft, if you don't know, stands for Time Away from Ted. So Steve is cashing in today, getting a little break from me, but he'll be back on Monday, and he'll be back to listening to my nonsense. Well, the seasons are changing, as you may or may not know. It was a little bit foggy this morning, a little zombie weathery, relatively warm this morning. We're sitting at 64 in Joplin, and as the seasons change, that is the time that you need to be on high alert and on the lookout for unwanted bugs. News Talk KZRG, we spoke with Bugaway Pest Control, and they told us that right now, more than ever, is when bugs start moving from outside to inside your home.
Yeah, I talked with Bugaway owner Rory Hansen. He said right now the biggest pest is ants, obviously, with all the wet weather in the area. This area is known for having a lot of ants, and when it gets saturated, the ground out there, they will come inside. I've had a couple bouts of them already this year.
Oh, yeah. No, ants don't mess around, and they don't like water. Have you seen those videos on the internet of wild ants, not like in your backyard, but out in like the Amazon and stuff?
Those are wild ants too, though, Ted, in your backyard.
I feel like backyard ants are like low-key domesticated, no?
I don't know about that.
Maybe not. But anyway, there's ants where when it floods, they form themselves into an ant ball where they all link up and form literally a sphere, and then they as a ball roll down the river, and since they're a ball, they rotate, and so every ant gets a moment of breathable air before they go back underwater and then rotate back around. Isn't that crazy?
The communication it takes, just the instinct to be able to pull that off,
Yeah.
is pretty incredible.
Outrageously impressive. Ants are very cool, but they're not very cool in your home. And so now is the time of year, just a little heads up for you. You might want to consider spraying. You might want to consider making some efforts to block some of these ants. Or cockroaches, bed bugs, mosquitoes, pretty much any unwanted pest. This is the time of year they pop out.
Yeah, you want to be careful for spiders, scorpions as well in this area in some spots. I was speaking with Rory, and he said the easiest way to tell if you have or suspect an infestation is if you start seeing these crawlies consecutive days in a row. If you see a cockroach in your house 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, call someone quick because they can spread very, very fast. If you have bed bugs, again, that's something that can, if left untreated, is a nightmare to get rid of. So all these, if you start seeing unwanted pests in your house and you start seeing them often, that's when to call a professional.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to mess around. In fact, I'm going to play for you. This is what Rory had told News Talk KZRG when it comes to ants. Take a listen to this. Oh, wait. Wrong button. See, this is what happens when Steve's gone for too many days in a row. I start falling apart. All right, here's what Rory had to say.
They're like little barometers. So anytime a storm's coming or rain's coming or something like that, they're moving in, trying to get out of the weather, find a safe harborage for them to just basically overnight in or something like that. So a lot of times people won't have them one day, and literally the next day they'll just be inundated with ants.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a bit of a mess. Some really quick basic advice here. Whenever you go outside to water the plants, or if you go outside to let the dog use the bathroom or something, just do a quick little once-over by your doors, windowsills, the base of your house. It doesn't take that much time. You don't need to be that detailed. Just take a little scan around. Do you see a ton of bugs? If so, spray. If not, you're probably good. KZRG News Time, 8:30.
At 8:30, I'm Lucas Davis.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
Here's what's trending on News Talk KZRG. Trump lawsuit's latest.
Mangione court date.
Pope's funeral approaching. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Heading for a high of 76. Your complete forecast with KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith following KZRG Sports at 8:38. It's clear in the four-state area. We got some chance for rain later. It's 61 in Neosho, 63 in Pittsburgh, 64 in Galena, and 64 in Joplin. On FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. President Donald Trump continues to face legal challenges over his executive orders on voting and immigration. Madeline Rivera has more.
A federal judge in D.C. has blocked a portion of President Trump's executive order to overhaul the way federal elections are run, targeting provisions requiring proof of citizenship before being allowed to register to vote. She argued under the Constitution, Congress and the states have the authority to regulate federal elections, not the president. Meantime, another judge in California blocked the Trump administration from stripping federal funds for sanctuary cities, saying the action would irreparably hurt these cities and counties. And finally, a Maryland judge ordered the government to bring back another man who was deported to El Salvador.
The man charged in the death of United Healthcare's CEO last year is due in federal court in New York today.
Luigi Mangione is accused of shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a hotel in Midtown Manhattan in December. Earlier this month, a federal grand jury indicted him on 4 counts, including stalking, firearms offense, and murder through the use of a firearm, which makes Mangione eligible for the death penalty if convicted. Attorney General Pam Bondi has signaled her intention to pursue the death penalty in the case. Mangione's attorneys say Bondi's statement, which was given before their client was federally indicted, quote, prejudiced the grand jury process. Mangione has already pleaded not guilty to New York state charges, including first-degree murder in the furtherance of an act of terrorism. In New York City, Tanya J. Powers.
One 1 day from the funeral of Pope Francis, and the Vatican is making final preparations.
The Vatican says 130 foreign delegations will attend the funeral mass on Saturday morning. 50 heads of state, including President Donald Trump, along with the First Lady. They're also preparing for at least 200,000 people to descend on St. Peter's Square and the surrounding area. Pope Francis's burial site has been prepared, a marble tomb marked only Franciscus. It's in the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. A slow procession will comprise the late pontiff's final journey. Jonathan Savage.
It's 64 at 8:33, FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
A break in his Southwest Missouri cold case. News Talk KZRG's Steve Smith takes it from here.
In Springfield, 36-year-old Paul Bowles has been indicted for second-degree murder, rape, and sodomy in the death of 18-year-old Jennifer Williams. Williams went missing while walking home in Springfield on September 8th back in 1989. Her body was discovered about 2 weeks later. The indictment comes after new advances in DNA led to the testing of Williams' sexual assault kit that identified Bowles as a suspect. He's in custody in Greene County. Steve Smith, News Talk KZRG.
Some citizens of Jasper County are not happy with the Joplin Special Road District and have started a petition to dissolve it. Jasper County Commissioner John Bartosh spoke with News Talk KZRG.
The problem, Jasper County's, and me personally's problem is the money from Jasper County is being spent on Newton County roads, and everybody knows that.
Public hearings will be held April 29th for Jasper County at the Jasper County Courthouse in Carthage, on May 7th for Newton County at Christ Community Church. Read more online at News Talk KZRG. It's 64, 8:35. If you see news, text us at 417-782-1310. It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG.
A couple living in Carthage have now been indicted for attacking an ICE officer. 39-year-old Fasto Vicente, a Guatemalan national, was arrested last month for fleeing from an immigration and enforcement deputy. During the struggle, his wife, 37-year-old Dominga Vicente, allegedly jumped on the deputy's back and tried to pull him off her husband. Court documents show that they were ordered to leave the United States back in 2008.
American workers are preparing themselves to accept jobs for less money over anxiety of a possible recession. Caroline Elliott has the story.
The New York Fed asked Americans what is the lowest salary they would take for a job. The answer, a little over $74,000 a year. And that's down from just 6 months ago when the answer was over $82,000 a year. According to the New York Fed, right now, a lot of people are worried about a possible recession. And an analyst with Bankrate says for many, a lower paycheck is still better than no paycheck at all. Now, Bankrate tells us historically expectations for paychecks do go up and down, but even the New York Fed described this as a significant decline. Caroline Elliott.
Now with sports, here's Lucas Davis on News Talk KZRG.
In MLB action, the Cardinals were off on Thursday and host a 3-game series with the Brewers, with the opener set for tonight at 7:15. You can hear that game on our sister station, AM 1230, The Talker. Kansas City hosted a twin bill with Colorado and came away with the sweep. The Royals won the opener 7-4. Salvador Perez had 2 hits, 2 RBI, and Kyle Isbell drove in 3 with a pair of hits. The Royals built a 5-0 lead on the way to a 6-2 win over the Rockies in Game 2 to finish off the Brooms. Perez went 3 for 4 with a double and a homer, 2 RBI, and a run scored. Michael Lorenzen earned the win after allowing 1 over 6 innings with 7 Ks. In NFL news, the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft took place on Thursday, with Miami quarterback Cam Ward going number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. The Kansas City Chiefs selected Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons with the 32nd pick. In prep baseball, Carl Junction earned a 4-1 win over Hillcrest. Neosho beat Republic 6-0, and Springfield Catholic beat Joplin 10-6. Lucas Davis, KZRG. Your news is the service of Galena Liberty Pawn. Sell your unwanted gold and silver direct to the refiner for top dollar. They also sell gold and silver bullion. Galena Liberty Pawn, 708 South Main in Galena, Kansas. I'm Lucas Davis.
And I'm Ted Bojorquez.
Next news at 9 o'clock. Breaking news as it happens. FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. No one gives you more accurate weather more often than News Talk KZRG. Here's KZRG meteorologist Terry Smith.
Here is your KZRG forecast. We are in and out of the rain this weekend, though it's not a complete washout. A few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder today, mainly in the morning. Will turn out sunny later on this afternoon, 74 the high. Tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, 68. And scattered thunder showers Sunday, 76 the high Sunday. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith in the KZRG Storm Center.
KZRG Storm Tracker radar showing clear in the four-state area. 61 in Neosho, 61 in Pittsburgh, 64 in Galena, 64 in Joplin. 100 weather updates every 24 hours on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, and on your smart speaker, News Talk KZRG. KZRG News Time, 8:39.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Big John's is here. They'll clean your space. Roll off dumpsters. They work fast paced. Moving out evictions too will help you clean. No stress for you. When life gets messy, they'll lend a hand. Big John's roll off. Add them to your plan. Selling mom's house, they'll clear the place. Call Big John's. They're on the case.
I'm the Big John with Big John's Roll-Off Service. Whether you're moving out, cleaning your parents' home to sell, or just need some help with spring cleaning, Big John's now offers clean-out assistance. And that can help save you time, reduce stress, and ensure that your items are properly disposed of. See for yourself why we're the fastest-growing roll-off and construction company in the 4 states. And give us a call for cleanup assistance today, 417-540-0663. When you've got big waste, you need Big John's Roll-Off Service.
Big on service, big on savings. Big John's.
When you think about the best-selling soft drinks in the world, the most well-known blue jeans, or iconic American car brands, what do they all have in common? They've been around since your great-granny was just a girl. We're the idea people at Zimmer Marketing, and we too have been around the block a time or two. For almost 70 years, we've helped thousands of businesses tell their story, reach new people, and grow their bottom line. And we're just getting better with age. You see, we aren't good because we've been around for a long time. We've been around for a long time because we're good. We've spent decades perfecting our craft, growing with an ever-changing world, and adding more tools to our disposal than ever. So when you need to get the word out, get butts in seats, drive web traffic, get clicks, or reach people in any way, you can go with the new flash-in-the-pan place, or you can trust the company that's been here for decades and will still be here tomorrow. Get started at ZimmerMarketing.com. And welcome to the Zimmer Marketing family.
Where did you get that smile? Joplin Family Dental.
Your boss calls you into their office to congratulate you on earning a promotion. You're so excited as you go to shake their hand, smiling wide, until you remember just how much you hate your overbite.
Your daughter steps forward on the stage and performs her dance solo with so much elegance and grace that it makes your heart swell and you can't help but smile until you remember your crooked teeth and immediately close your mouth.
I'm Dr. Grant Kirk.
And I'm Dr. Connor Poston with Joplin Family Dental.
Don't let feeling self-conscious about your smile take the joy out of your special moments.
Get a smile you've always wanted with Invisalign.
For the months of March and April, you can get Invisalign for as low as $34.95.
Call Joplin Family Dental to schedule a free Invisalign consultation today.
Or find more information at joplindental.com.
Where did you get that smile? Joplin Family Dental.
Spring has sprung at Tropical Tan. We are here to get you ready for all your special occasions. Weddings, beach vacations, prom, you name it, Tropical Tan is the place to be to get your skin prepped for the sun, utilizing our state-of-the-art tanning beds. Need a gorgeous glow in a hurry? Our VersaSpa Pro and Mystic HD sunless tanning systems will have you showing off that bronze glow in minutes. Don't forget, Tropical Tan is more than a tanning salon. Our infrared body wraps not only aid in inch and weight loss, but are also amazing for joint pain and detoxification. For a limited time, when you purchase an infrared body wrap package, Tropical Tan is giving a free month of red light therapy. Red light therapy increases collagen production, which reduces wrinkles and smooths the skin. Who doesn't want that? Hurry into Tropical Tan for even more savings with buy one, get one half price on tanning packages and bottles of lotion. Some restrictions may apply. Check us out online at tropicaltanjoplin.com. Tropical Tan, where the sun is always shining.
Or the sun without all the sand. It's Tropical Tan.
From Studio 1Z, with the latest news, commentary, and weather, it's the KZRG Morning News Watch on News Talk, KZRG.
It's FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310 on your smart speaker on the KZRG app. News Talk KZRG, Ted Bojorquez.
Lucas Davis.
Steve Scott will be back in the hot seat on Monday morn. Well, we're wrapping up the show for the week here, and as you know, news, especially these days, moves so quickly. Things that happened just a few days ago seems like a few weeks ago. So, Lucas and I, we're going to give you a recap of all the biggest stories that News Talk KZRG broke for you this week. Lucas, what's a big story we had this week?
Obviously, recently, Schreiber Foods announced they're putting a hold on their expansion, which would have created over 100 jobs, I believe is what you said earlier. So that's
150 in Carthage.
Yeah, that's a pretty big number, but like one of our listeners said, at least they're not closing their plant down or announcing anything that severe. So,
yeah, that is true. That was an announcement. News Talk KZRG, we broke for you that news in December of 2024 that Schreiber and Carthage planned that expansion to create 150 jobs. And due to, quote, economic uncertainty, they decided they are actually not going to be opening that expansion. So that's some news we had for you. Not good news, but news. Another big story we had for you this week actually pertains to what's happening tomorrow in Joplin, and that is Joplin's Sip and Stroll is returning to the Rotary Sculpture Garden in Mercy Park in Joplin.
Some live music, some ice cream snacks. Just going to be a good old day as long as the rain stays away.
Yes, indeed. And News Talk KZRG will keep you up to date on that rain, by the way. But yeah, that Sip and Stroll is happening tomorrow afternoon from 2 to 4 in Mercy Park. Like Lucas said, there's going to be ice cream. There is going to be some snacks. There's also going to be artists doing little sketch caricatures of whoever wants one. The Joplin High School is having their band do live music, so should be pretty cool. Happening tomorrow afternoon. Go to newstalkkzrg.com for details.
Yeah, it's a nice place to. Mercy Park in general is just a nice place to go, get some fresh air. They got a nice little pond out there. It's a great place to go for a walk.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
We also had Pope Francis passing away this week due to complications from a stroke. It was Easter Monday, actually. I believe it's when they announced it. He made an appearance on Easter Sunday, and then it was all over on Easter Monday. They are, I believe, having the funeral tomorrow, I believe, is when that's going down.
I think so.
So, tough week for Catholics all across the country and the world. Our thoughts and prayers out with them.
Yeah, no kidding. And by the way, flags at half-staff, if you see that in and around the 4 states, Donald Trump, the President of the United States, did declare that flags will be flown at half-staff in honor of the Pope passing on until tomorrow evening. I know Kansas is doing that. I know Arkansas is. I'm pretty sure Missouri as well. So if you see those at half-staff as you're cruising around this morning, that is why. Another big story we had for you this week actually had to do, in part, with Easter Sunday. There were those storms, that severe weather that came through the 4-state area. News Talk KZRG, we were there for you, regardless of weekend or holiday. When it comes to severe weather, News Talk KZRG, we are your home. This is the station you want to tune into when it comes to severe weather coverage. And on Easter Sunday, those storms roll in, knocked up Carl Junction pretty good. And we had gotten word from the National Weather Service, who had conducted a survey of the storm-damaged region, and they had declared that it was, in fact, an EF1 tornado that had tracked from eastern Cherokee County, Kansas, through western Jasper County, Missouri, and ultimately through Carl Junction. You can go to our Facebook page, News Talk KZRG on Facebook. We have numerous photos and some video of that damage that went through. They also went and surveyed the Lamar area, and the National Weather Service had announced that those Easter Sunday storms brought an EF0 tornado to Lamar that had moved through Barton County, Missouri, and through Lamar. So that's what got hit in Lamar. NewsTalkKZRG.com. Details on that story can be found there.
Yeah, it's MoDOT's Work Zone Awareness Week, and there's going to be an historic amount of work zones, road work this summer.
Be aware of it.
All across the state, so you're not going to leave Joplin and escape it. It's going to be everywhere. But their theme this week was Work With Us, which is essentially just putting the onus on you. If there's going to be safe roadways, especially in the roadwork areas, it's got to come down to each individual driver making sure they're paying attention. The police out there can only do so much. They're a reactionary enforcement. So just make sure you're off your phone. You're not messing around with your GPS, any of that kind of stuff. You're just looking at the roadways. Yeah. Just make sure don't do what I do and steer with one knee while stuffing your face full of food. That's not a good plan at 80 miles an hour on the highway.
Yeah, Lucas, it's not. Another big distraction that's actually, I feel, underrepresented is kids. Mm-hmm. If you have kids in the back seat and look, Mom, look, Dad, look at me, that is a big distraction. Keep that in mind. And so if your kids are acting up in the back seat and you're driving, for the sake of your safety and the safety of others, throw the kid out the window.
I actually saw a bumper sticker for the van, our van, that I was going to put on it the other day that read, "I'm not drunk, I'm spanking."
Hopefully that has to do with parenting and not something else.
Well, it actually said I'm whooping a double hockey sticks, but
oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I had to clean it up a little.
Well, thank you for that.
No problem. I want to have a job, so I mean.
Another big story we had this week. We're up against the clock here. We're sitting at a KZRG news time of 8:50, but this was a pretty big one. The Joplin City Council this week at their weekly Monday meeting, they approved a measure to demolish the old Freeman Hospital and take it down and build low-income housing for veterans and seniors there instead. That big brick building, it looks sort of like an L, pretty dilapidated, pretty dinged up. It's sitting near 20th and Sargent in Joplin, and it's, I believe, more than 100 years old. Actually, I think it turned 100 this year.
I think so. They just tore down another building, too, right next to Kramer Meats on Rangeline. I saw yesterday they demolished that. I forget what it was, sitting next to Kramer Meats, but that's open foundation now as well.
Yeah, so Joplin, they're cleaning up. They're cleaning up their streets, doing what they can to do so anyway. So details on that soon-to-be demolished Freeman building at newstalkkzrg.com.
KZRG's Big Three on News Talk KZRG.
Number 3.
President Trump signed an executive order on election integrity. The order would have required that Election Assistance Commission to amend national voter registration to forms to require documentary proof of citizenship. A U.S. district judge blocked the order. What a shock.
Number 2.
According to the U.S. Treasury Secretary, South Korea is close to making a trade deal in the U.S. The Secretary said the meetings with South Korea are moving faster than the U.S. had expected.
Number 1.
There's scams aplenty out there. The Kansas Department of Transportation is warning you of a texting scam known as smishing, where the scammer pretends to be KDOT and demands payment for unpaid tolls. If you ever get a text like this and you've driven on the roads in Kansas, just remember there are no toll roads and KDOT does not collect for them.
Now, the KZRG question of the day on News Talk KZRG.
What are you most thankful for? We want to know your thinking. Go to the KZRG Facebook page, News Talk KZRG on Facebook. Coming up, we're going to take a little look at the local weather and some stories we'll be following for you this weekend and for the rest of today on News Talk KZRG.
Here is your KZRG forecast. We are in and out of the rain this weekend, though it's not a complete...
Good morning, everyone. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Sorry we weren't super chatty. We had a lot of those interviews. But no, we appreciate you hanging out. We'll see you on